So something important to cover right now is that Spain arrested Fergie Chambers because of an extradition order from the USA. Fergie Chambers is an American millionaire heir who spends his money on like supporting like some anti-imperialist causes and Palestinians in Gaza and stuff. Thousands of Palestinians in Gaza who he funds. And he's been arrested in Spain on obviously bogus allegations of him funding Hamas coming from an indictment in the USA. Spain, the supposedly pro-Palestinian Spanish government, arrests someone for sending money to Palestinians on the request of the US government. And look, I don't care if you don't like this guy. I don't care if he said stupid shit. I don't care if, whatever bad things you say about him. I don't give a fuck because obviously this is going to be part of a much broader crackdown. And even if you hate him, this affects the people who he's sending money to as well. They're going to stop him from sending money to them. And what's going to happen to the people in Gaza who he's supporting? I've already seen stories of like people in Gaza who Fergie Chambers is like organizations and such were having like their medical treatment paid for, or people who were in Egypt or other third countries having their medical treatment paid for. And now it's been cut off because he's been arrested. And the US government and Spain and all these other countries are collaborating in freezing the money that he was sending to them. So this is not like an individualistic thing of this man being like individually good. I would hope that you would support this happening to anyone, even if they weren't as rich as he was and as giving as much money to people as he is. But it's also much more than that. Like them arresting him immediately puts the lives of thousands of people in danger. It immediately harms tons of like anti-imperialist organizations. And it says a lot to the rest of, to everyone else as well, because we have this guy, he's like kind of at the top of the totem pole, but this is just the beginning. They'll go for everyone else next. If they fucking, had a federal grand jury about me, they'll do this to other people eventually as well. Someone like this is like the test. They're going to do like the Holy Land 5 shit on him, make up a bunch of shit that never happened to, get like some random Israeli Mossad guys to testify against him anonymously and throw him in jail for the rest of his life and steal all of his assets that would otherwise be going to people in Gaza. It's the beginning of the criminalization of any sort of support for the Palestinian people and of anti-imperialist causes in general. As far as I know, he's being held in Ibiza, which is also very unfortunate because that's very hard for other people in Spain to get to protest or anything. But like the Spanish government puts on like an aura and a public image of being pro-Palestine, lots of great pro-Palestine statements. And then when it comes down to it, they still, they let the USA use their airspace for military travel and stuff. They arrest people like Fergie Chambers on the orders of the US. They didn't have to do that. They did not need to do it. They did it anyway. They covertly still allow arms transfers to Israel. They just don't talk about it. They hush them down. Rhetoric. And then look what's happening here. And I think if this happened in like France or the UK, I'd think, yeah, he's fucked. He's screwed. But given that it's Spain, the Sanchez government might cave to pressure, might cave to protest pressure because they want to maintain that image because it is important to a lot of people in Spain that they are pro-Palestine. So at least I think it's important to talk about this, especially because there is a slight chance here, whereas in a country like the UK or France, there would be no chance, or even Germany, there'd be zero chance there, for them to be pressured into releasing him and not carrying out the extradition. So it is important to talk about this for that reason. So I just wanted to cover this very briefly. I don't really have much to add to this, aside from like to say to, yeah, he's a millionaire, he's a bourgeois, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's him first, it's you next. There's no reason to support this. It's not like he was doing anything negative with his money. There's no fucking reason to like, because of a personal beef with someone or because you dislike them for whatever reason, to support something like this happening to them. And not to say like this is fucking bullshit. Not even just because he helps a ton of people and this is going to harm them, thousands of them, but also because wouldn't you fucking hope that when people who believe in the same shit as you do have the force of the fucking United States government come down upon them, that they would be able to put personal grudges aside and support you as well? He's facing 30 fucking years in prison and the Spanish government can stop this. All it takes is them to grow some balls, take a stand. So I hope that by talking about this, we can maybe spur that into happening a little bit. I doubt it'll have any effect, but, whatever. Might as well try. And, I'm sure Fergie Chambers is a great big fan of Barron Bernard, like any connoisseur of left-wing politics. So I'm sure he's going to ask his lawyer, can you tell me what Barron Bernard said about me? And because I made this video His lawyer will be able to tell him, don't worry, Fergie, bad empanadas is on your side. And he'll be like, this gives me the strength to carry on. So don't worry. Don't worry, man. I'm on your side, Fergie. I'm with you until the end, even though you never gave me money. That was a joke, by the way, because I know people are going to clip that. Let us get rid of the part of me saying it was a joke anyway.
Okay, what's up, everybody? How are you doing, Abby?
I'm all right. Feeling a little bit, blocked today. But other than that, I'm okay. My camera's not working, y'all. I might restart and
right now in 2026. A little known.
That's enough out of you. Sorry. How's it going? Yeah. Sorry, you're saying you're just feeling a little bit blah and whatnot, and
yeah.
Elaborate, and you got cut off by an advert.
You could. I didn't realize you could do that. Yeah, the YouTube started over again. Yeah, I didn't sleep well, so then I was trying to sleep this morning, but I couldn't like sleep a full hours in one block, like a full 4 hours. I just kept waking up, but I was just too tired to actually get up, so I just kept going back to sleep intermittently.
Yeah, well, I do that often. I gotta maybe do that a little less, try and get back out there and put some resumes out and whatnot. But I similarly, like last night, had a bit of a hard time sleeping. Had to take a night off of the drinking, like I need to, every once in a while. But lately, I've been feeling like I gotta try and maybe tonight I gotta go on day 2 without the drinking. Maybe day 3 tomorrow, just because I've been having some like whatever you call it, I'm blanking on the word now, brain fart, whatever, a sinus or whatever. My nose has been bothering me.
Allergies?
Feels like allergies or something. Maybe it is just pollen, and I'm just blaming it on the alcohol. But my nose feels like it's like got pepper in it all day long sometimes. It's ridiculous. It's like, this is not normal. So
that sounds like allergies.
I gotta go talk to the doctor maybe. But it's just like, maybe it's like allergy to alcohol or cannabis or something, or like pesticides or some shit, or whatever. Who knows? But it feels like related to my smoking.
You ever use a neti pot?
No, I don't know what that. I mean, I heard what that is. I forget what it is.
Rondo says
with it. Oh, really? Yeah.
Empire.
Maybe that moon's been fucking with me. We always kind of rule that out because it's easy to forget with our modern lifestyle where the moon is in the cycle.
Yeah, a neti pot is like the water goes through one nasal passage and comes out of the other. So it's cleaning your nasal passage of any mucus and stuff, and pollen and all that stuff. Yeah, bidet for your nose.
Well, appreciate that suggestion. Yeah.
I have one. I might need to pull mine out because I've been sniffling a lot lately.
Yeah.
Although yesterday I made something called, I forget what it's called. It's basically jalapeno peppers, serrano peppers, and you put them in a pot of oil on both sides until they like burst open a little bit. And then you put some onions in there and lime juice, soy sauce, and maybe a little sprinkle of salt or something like that. Kind of let the soy sauce cook down. That's pretty much what it is. So I was like eating hot peppers like that, and man, oh man.
That cleared you up good? That sounds like it might do the trick. Yeah.
That was like a neti pot in and of itself.
But it's something that I've noticed for years. That's why I think it's connected to like cannabis, at least, if not. I mean, if you look at how alcohol affects you over time, how it affects the nose over time. It has there's the issues there, right? You know, I mean, you know how everybody gets the red, not everybody, but some people get their nose turns red if they've been an alcoholic for long enough, you know. So I've been noticing problems with my nose developing over time. So I'm not just going to jump to the conclusion that it's got nothing to do with that. And when you look into stuff like dopamine, like disorders type thing, I guess like mental health issues with like the doctors previously tried to diagnose me with like a cannabis abuse disorder kind of thing. And when you look into dopamine receptors and whatnot, there's some of those in the nose and whatnot. And I've had frequently like runny noses in the morning and whatnot for half the day kind of thing for years now. So it's really most likely something to do with that. But then you go looking for studies about that, and guess what? There's no study been done on it yet. At least that's what the AI told me. But gotta not get your health advice from the AI. So I gotta go fucking talk to my doctor, which is not my favorite thing to do.
Or WebMD.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jacqueline, I also think the time we spend in front of the computer screen or scrolling on our phone is also affecting our sleep patterns. So
I would like to get some of those glasses that help protect from the blue light and see if that helps. Because I'm staring at screens too often, you know. As much as it's not as much entertainment as it is for other people, I have been consistently making an effort to watch like independent media, watch news instead of like just whatever TV show or movie I want to watch or anime or whatever, you know. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day. You're still looking at the screen, you know. And what part of what we're going to get into today, not to go on too long about ourselves, but the independent media turns out if you're trying to be serious about watching it, good luck, because too much of it is apparently it is entertainment that's being packaged to us as something more real than it actually is. And so we've been on this for a little while now, talking about this issue, you know, like the Tucker Carlsons of the independent media, ostensibly independent media. But we got to kind of advance the dialogue. We got to not just be trapped in talking about the same people from 5 years ago as if like people don't already get it, you know. And this is it's kind of hard, you know, when we're all looking to these other channels and whatnot to see what everybody's interested. We're trying to get an assessment about what do people, what are they want to talk about, you know, what do they want us to talk about, and that has to be a factor in what we decide to cover. But we can't just be deciding, oh, we're only going to talk about what it seems like people care about, and then you end up being a freaking like populist mainstream media airhead talking idiot instead of an actual useful journalist, you know.
Well, let's get back to this guy.
Fergie Chambers.
Fergie Chambers. Because this is like a global extension of the domestic push for ending the resurgence of political terrorism. But the political terrorism is basically all focused on, if you're not a right-wing nationalist, then obviously you're a terrorist. Like, obviously.
Yeah. This is definitely about this new Red Scare 3.0, obviously, you know, and they're rounding up people for things that, excuse me, that they haven't actually done. So specifically about this Fergie Chambers guy, let me find the first link I wanted to bring up, article to read.
And this is definitely exposing Spain. If you're supposed to be so pro-Palestinian, that was just in name and face only. You know how like some people are coming out, some countries are coming out against the genocide. 3 years later, like, way to get ahead of it.
Well, sorry, you're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, I said I was like, these countries are, their leaders are coming out against genocide. What was that? Oh, that's your share. Oh my gosh. See, I'm out of it. I thought that was you.
No, I just bringing up my my first
I
link.
see.
But
So
didn't.
anyway,
I want to preface it before I call it up, anyways. Go ahead, finish your
okay.
thought there.
So as much as countries are like starting to speak out against the genocide, it's like you're way too late. Like the damage has been done. Um, it's irreversible because they're already selling off land in Jewish only real estate tour, whatever, in New York City and various other places. And yeah, it's just like you were just trying to save face. It's not, you're not really the ally that you're trying to portray yourself as being.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten around to talking about Spain. We have covered them a little bit, but it's definitely the thing that Spain is one of those European nations that is, at least right now, its government is nominally socialist. The ruling party in charge of the government at the moment claims to be socialist. But if you know anything really about the history of Spain, you know that Spain's very much quite like had a bad history with fascism, with the era like Francoism and everything. They still have their goddamn monarchy. Okay, that's been in some scandals in recent years and whatnot. And their socialist movement is like a lot of socialist movements it's around the world. It's kind of like that social democrat problem, you know. They like to they're really good at acting like they're the real socialists. But if you actually analyze their actions instead of their words, time and time again, they are betraying um, the more hardline, like communists. You know, it's always the Marxist Leninists
Because
that get backstabbed for being more communist, more socialist than these other parties that are actually in power. That are, when it push comes to shove or whatever, you see that they end up being complicit with U.S. empire. So it's
yes.
not really an accident.
So okay, Netanyahu's just here, right? Oh, excuse me. If Spain was really serious, why wouldn't they? Okay, I'll give you Fergie, which you shouldn't, but I'll give you Fergie. You turn in Netanyahu
But
to
this
the
is the same thing
ICC.
where we should get into this is where I don't want to get too I'm not wanting to be one of these people that are like trying to defend Fergie Chambers and say we all have to jump on, like, die on this hill of defending Fergie Chambers, because the movement can't survive without these bourgeois millionaires. Okay,
Oh, I
this is
wasn't
what we
talking
really
about
got to get
dying on
into,
a hill to
because
defend him,
I'm just
because
saying
he is a
I meant to.
billionaire. But
I'm just saying I meant to make more of a comment about the opening video with Bad Empanada, because I'm going to follow it up with a video from the Indigenous Nightmare Network. We haven't really shared their content before. We kind of had a little bit of a, like, we need to maybe speak with each other offline about who are willing to kind of like share and promote and whatnot. But I've been watching this Indigenous Nightmare Network for a couple months, maybe a bit longer. I'm not, but I've been appreciating their content a lot. I've been finding that they are like the actual dialectical materialist, like critical, like race theory and all, like the gender theory, kind of like respecting like the woke Marxist Leninists. You know what I mean? So I appreciate the Indigenous Nightmare Network. He came out with a video about Bad Empanada being a political grifter. So I want to share that with you after I read this article here, to kind of give both sides of the argument there. Whatever you've heard from Bad Empanada as far as what he feels is necessary in protecting Fergie Chambers, but let's listen then to the
well,
Indigenous voice,
it's
the
not just
Indigenous American, as opposed to the Australian, Argentinian, whatever international kind of podcaster kind of character. So,
Well,
but
I'm not referring to protecting him. I'm referring
I'm
to
just trying to get to the
fact
point that this indigenous nightmare, where Isaac Jasper is his name. Isaac is saying that Bad Empanada makes like 16,000 a month off of grifting off of people asking for subscriptions and Patreons, whatever, so that he can be a fake anti-imperialist, so that we can then go like, so that like he's grifting people into thinking that they're joining like a real anti-imperialist or whatever podcaster community, but who turned like Isaac whatever makes the case that he's likely funded by Fergie Chambers as well. There's a whole network of people like
Wait,
the
hold
Gray
on,
Zone.
hold on.
We'll have to get up to it. We'll have to make my case. I'm just saying, do not trust these people to begin with. Do your research before you decide who you trust, right?
Okay, can I say something now?
Yes,
Because
sorry.
you've
Go
said
ahead.
a lot.
Yes.
Okay. One, I don't think billionaires should exist. So I wasn't talking about protecting him. I'm talking about protecting his right to donate money to pro-Palestinian causes.
Protect his right to be a philanthropist.
I don't think that is cause for getting arrested, because that's what they said that's what they said the problem was, right?
Well, because he
If I
gave $1
remember
million
correctly.
to the pro-Palestinian kind of
Yes,
humanitarian
exactly.
causes. That's like what Empanada is
Exactly.
saying. We're going to be the assholes to come out as principled Marxists to say, fuck Fergie Chambers or whatever, who gives a shit? Because if he stops being able to use his Cox family, whatever, wealth to continue to keep Palestinian like children alive that were a fucking abomination of a human being or whatever. And this is how they fucking murder like the real leftist movement, because any real leftist tries to look at things critically, and you actually get demonized for calling out these fucking grifters. So we'll have
Okay,
to make
and
the
then
case.
hold on, because you said a lot. I still gotta remember what I'm trying to respond to. Like so what? How much he was able to give? That's a whole nother story. But in the UK, this lady, she had to be like 80 something. She's in a wheelchair, and the lady that's pushing her, they belong to like a pro-Palestinian organization, and just for belonging to that organization, they were at a protest. They got arrested. They wheeled her on up out of there, took her to jail.
Oh yeah,
Just for her stance on being pro-Palestinian. So
right,
that's the part I'm speaking on.
of course.
And
Let's
then I
not forget
wanted, wait,
about the
hold on, let
fucking
me
vicious
finish.
Zionists. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta finish because you said a lot, and I gotta make sure.
My bad. Yeah.
Because you were talking about that dude. He makes 16,000 or whatever a month or what have you. Well, I'm not saying podcasters aren't here to make money. We're talking about what's their integrity while making money. Say if we were able to, say if we had 1,000 subscribers, right? And so now we could do super chats or what have you. And say people were super generous and we made 16,000 a month. Does that mean that we're grifting?
Say hypothetically, if we were in their position or whatever, but we can go through that thought experiment if you like, but there's a reason why we're not in that position, because they are actively, like, I actually also, it's a long video, we won't really get to cover the whole thing, but shout out to Extra Bulla. He just dropped a nice banger of a video last night, an interview with Blue Moon Red Wine, that I feel needs to be kind of follow up this video tonight, or that we do here today, or whatever, with that interview with Blue Moon Red Wine, and watch the full
I sure hope it wasn't about Argentina.
I'm just saying, you have to listen, okay? You can't just judge people because of where they come from, whatever, because you heard bad things about other people who came from there.
That's not what I was doing. So please don't do that. She did an
interview.
interview.
Trying to say. It's difficult to share the story.
She did an interview with
when the people get shot down for trying to talk about other, like,
she was on Pro Pill. And she was talking about Argentina, and I watched it. I told you about it.
Right. I haven't seen that yet. No, I know. But and I'm not trying to do a wholesale advocacy for a person. We all have good and bad takes. You know, there's certain like videos and perspectives that Blue and Red Wine has that I don't agree with. You know, but on this, I feel that she's on the money. You know.
Okay, I didn't watch it, so I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about something else.
I'm just
I feel
trying
like
to
you're
bring
being
up
a little
the
argumentative
context
with
of
me.
the broader conversation
I
that
feel
you're
like you're
on.
trying to. I feel like you're trying to chastise me and like wag your little
I
finger
just
at me.
feel like you're trying to
You
go
might
out of
want to
your
put it
way.
down.
You're going out of your way to defend people you don't even know enough of their background to defend, you know, and you're going against people.
Wait a minute. 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 I think you need to put your little waggy finger down for a minute, because I could defend who I want to defend, and I could talk about who I want to talk about. It's my opinion.
Exactly, which is why I'm trying to share. That's the same goes for you, whatever same goes for me, which is why I'm trying to share what I thought was a good interview that Extra Bullet did with Blue Moon last night. But then you want to make it about her Argentina comments, which has nothing to do with what we're talking about today.
So what? I can talk about what I want to talk about.
Because now we're on a tangent. We're arguing about something that has
how
nothing
many
to do
times
with
do
what I
you
was trying to bring about
on
today.
A tangent? And how many times do you go on a tangent? Do I say anything?
But your tangent specifically is about discrediting the person that I'm trying to share tonight, as far as when we're talking.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You go
when
ahead.
We're talking about who can and cannot be trusted in independent media as the focus of this topic today, when we are people in the independent media who is judged by that same criteria, we'll end up hoisted by our own petard on this one. Okay. So we have to be a little bit careful about who we badmouth or whatever, and who we protect and carry water for. Because this is the thing, people are consistently underestimating the intelligence agencies for manipulating all of our perceptions on things. And when we try and set the record straight, it's pretty difficult, whatever, because all the fucking bad mouthing that's been done about all the people we're trying to talk about. Right? So.
No, I don't think you're right. But you go right ahead.
So since you decided to me that you just wanted to react to what I was presenting today, and you didn't, you're going to let me take the lead on this one, can I carry forward with what I brought today?
I just said you go right ahead.
All right.
But when I have an opinion,
share it, please, because that's what you're here for.
Okay, but don't wag your finger at me.
But you're not even letting me present the evidence before you're kind of telling me what's going on here. So have your opinions maybe after you hear what I have to say.
All right, Rondo, good night. I would want to leave too.
All right, have a good one. Peace. Come back and watch this, though, if we can get around to covering it, because this is important. This is something we need to talk about if we're actually serious leftists or whatever, actual people who care about change. Otherwise, we're just these fucking imposters, and you should fucking not listen to us, right? So let me see, where's this to start with. I'm going to play this little short video after I read this. Okay, so I don't really know who this is. I just found this person while looking up information today from bitcloutlabs.substack.com. They call themselves Lawsuit Alpha. Fergie Chambers financed the activists. Prosecutors now have to prove he financed the crime. I just thought this is kind of important to get some of the legal facts straight before we go around jumping on a bandwagon of who's saying what and why. A financier of militant anti-Israel activism is reportedly in custody in Ibiza, facing a United States extradition request. The public facts are narrower than the celebrations and denunciations already racing past them. James Fergie Chambers has acknowledged funding protester bail and assisting Palestine Action US, the network later renamed Unity of Fields. Reports on July 12th and 13th said he was detained in Spain on allegations of international money laundering and intended material support for foreign terrorist organizations. No Justice Department charging document and no Spanish court filing establishing those allegations has surfaced. hold both halves of that in view because the entire case lives in the space between them. Chambers did not hide his role. In a 2023 interview cited by the Anti-Defamation League, he described the then new Palestine Action US network as committed to constant business disruption and said the goal was to shut targeted sites down. He later recast it as an affinity network rather than a command structure. That word is doing legal work. Affinity is the vocabulary of deniability, shared goals, shared tactics, shared publicity with formal membership, payroll, and command conspicuously absent. Unity of Fields is not a registered organization and its funding is described as unclear. He was equally direct about the money. Chambers told the Washington Free Beacon he had helped Palestine Action US with media and backed bail funds for activists across dozens of causes. He praised the British group Palestine Action while claiming he did not know the details of its activities. This is where political theater ends and financial records begin. Bail support can be lawful. Media assistance can be lawful. Abrasive political speech is lawful. The question a prosecutor asks is different. Did the money cross from advocacy into knowing facilitation of a crime or into prohibited support for a designated group? That question is not answered by a social media post. It is not answered by a partisan account of an indictment nobody has read. There is one documented instance where Chambers' money touched defendants directly. In the 2023 action at an Elbit Systems facility in Merrimack, New Hampshire, 3 activists initially faced felony allegations and pleaded down to misdemeanor criminal mischief and trespass. The ADL reports that Chambers paid their bail. That fact is real and it is limited. It connects his money to defendants in a property crime case. It does not establish that he financed terrorism, directed the action, or knew any specific unlawful plan. The distinction is not pedantry. It is the difference between a provocative narrative and an indictable one. The network's public record supplies the atmosphere the case will be argued in. Unity of Fields emerged from Palestine Action US and took its current name in August 2024, styling itself as a militant front against what it calls the US-NATO Zionist axis. Its published material has celebrated disruptive actions, vandalism, and escalation, and included praise for the October 7 attacks and for US-designated groups. Those are documented descriptions of what the organization posts. They are not proof that any given donor participated in a crime. Then there is the political overlap that the online posts want to convert into an org chart. Material supplied by Stu Smith identifies Jorge Rocha and Mira Wood as figures in the Democratic Socialists of America's International Committee and asserts that both worked for Chambers. The committee affiliations check out independently. A 2023 podcast listing placed Wood as co-chair of the International Committee's Middle East and Africa subcommittee, and Rocha on its steering body, and the ADL later described Rocha, probably Rocha, not Rocha, Rocha as an IC co-chair. The employment claim does not check out. No payroll record, no contract, no contemporaneous statement, no corroborating report was produced. Did Rocha and Wood work for Chambers? Nobody has shown the document that would make that a fact rather than an assertion. Until someone does, it stays an open question. The organizational fact underneath is cleaner and smaller. DSA's International Committee is a national body that has taken aggressively anti-Zionist positions. That is a political affiliation. It is not evidence of participation in Unity of Fields activities or in Chambers' alleged conduct, and a piece that pretends otherwise is writing a defense's motion for it. So here's the structure the Chambers matter actually tests. A wealthy ideological patron, a loose affinity network that refuses to register, branded propaganda channels, bail funds, activists who move between formal organizations and informal campaigns, while no single institution claims the whole machine. It is a design built to enjoy the benefits of organization without its liabilities. The relevant question was never whether radical speech is criminal. It is not. It is not whether everyone linked by a photo, a panel, a repost, or an old committee seat shares a defendant's exposure. They do not, legally speaking. The question is whether law enforcement can establish a traceable chain of knowledge, money, and intent. If it can, the case will show how informal militancy uses the language of decentralization to launder command. If it cannot, this becomes a story about the government reaching for a political donor and missing. For now, the case is more reported than documented, resting on a sealed indictment. One outlet says, which is the fucking gray zone with Max Blumenthal, which will be relevant for you to understand why I have a little bit of a emotional charge on that kind of revelation, okay? If you watch that video we were disputing. So rest on a sealed indictment. One outlet says it reviewed in public records do not yet confirm. That is not a footnote to the story. On the current record, it is the story. The next document either closes the gap or it doesn't. And until it lands, everyone racing ahead of it is describing an indictment they have not read. And so we also have Max Blumenthal was apparently arrested at the airport very recently. And it's all very suspicious after returning from Iran. And he is the son of Sidney Blumenthal, very much like how Tucker Carlson is the son of a CIA agent, right? And so Lucy, Blue Moon Red Wine, does an excellent job of exposing how he is not just the innocent son of a guilty father. He is the son who is committing the same sins as the father who committed those sins of imperialism. And she's got some receipts to fucking prove it. So let's not just throw her out because whatever thing she said on another show.
Okay, you better stop that. Stop
right?
that. You better stop that because I didn't do that. So stop. I just said I did not like what her coverage of Argentina because she was trying to brush off some. I felt like she was trying to brush off a lot of the racism that occurs in Argentina.
A lot of people tend to defend their ethnic group.
Now, I've
whether
seen.
we see it as right or not from the outside looking
So
in.
what?
Exactly.
So what? Now, I have seen her talk about Max Blumenthal before and his father. She did a show by herself on that, and I thought she did a very good job. I can have two opposing opinions about someone without you trying to tell me what I should and shouldn't think.
Fair enough. So then I'm just going to play this little bit here, and then we can move to the next thing with the Isaac Jasper.
Now, go ahead and give me a virtual hug so we can get this shit over with.
You want me to go?
I'm trying, so we can move on.
I'll have to pop into the chat, whatever, 1 second.
I'm an American communist. My primary position in life is to extract as much of my family's hoarded wealth as possible and reappropriate it to revolutionary organizing.
There was a plan about a year or so ago to essentially create like a second People's Forum in like a rural environment that would allow people to do like 2-week retreats and do schools there the way the People's Forum has put events on. I mean, I was brought into like inner circle discussion.
I know.
You know they really
Because
support the rich.
Because they wanted your money.
But at this point, I really believe that the People's Forum was like earnestly trying to like bring all the different good organizations in to do like good united front education work, and that this is what we're going to do up there. And then like all of a sudden, you know, we realized that like actually they're all just PSL staff. They're all funded by the same people. I gave them some funding for buses to DC, and then I tried to directly do it, and that pissed them off. They said, no, it has to go through Answer. There's not a single staff member of TPF that's not PSL. And the curriculum that they proposed, you know, was all PSL cadre.
What is what did you say?
Not, and when we suggested other things, they didn't like that.
What is CPS?
What's that?
Did he say CPS?
He's probably said PSL. Let's rewind it.
No, he said there's a.
We're gonna have to get to another article too.
That isn't PSL or something like that.
Sorry, you say again?
It sounded like he said there's not a single person at CPS that isn't PSL, I think.
All right, we'll have to see. Well, now that we rewinded, we'll see what he says. But I was going to say we're going to have to get to an article, too, that I found from cityjournal.org. Seems like a right-wing publication or whatever. Very right-wing. But they're talking about this. There's feuding communist millionaires. So the other elephant in the room on this conversation about Fergie Chambers is another billionaire, or at least millionaire anyway, funding apparently independent media in America. Okay, and it's Roy Neville Singham. This is the billionaire, the Chinese-backed billionaire, or the pro-Chinese billionaire or whatever, that lives in Shanghai, that funds the Party for Socialism and Liberation. And this whole anti-communist Red Scare thing is coming after both of them, that the Trump administration is doing. So it's whether we like any side or pick either side of right, we need to follow what's happening here, because they're coming after socialists or people pretending to be socialists at the very least, right?
So like Tariq Nasheed spoke about this, about I think he was talking about I see his face, Kanye West. And he said the problem with Kanye West is it's not that he was telling a lie, it's that he's not supposed to be the one to tell those types of things. Like because he's an entertainer, he's supposed to stay on. Entertainers are generally supposed to be the liberals and like they have a type. The music industry has a type, right? And he was saying most billionaires they never show their face. They're always like paying someone to be the provocateur, to say all the things that they want to say so they can keep their hands clean and wipe their hands of it, even though they're still like moving the crowd into the direction that they want them to go through their minion mouthpieces.
Right. All right. So shall I carry on with the video there?
Sure.
Okay.
I gave them some funding for buses to DC, and then I tried to directly do it, and that pissed them off. They said, no, it has to go through Answer. There's not a single staff member of TPF that's not PSL. And
TPS. Is that what he said? TPS?
TPF, I thought. Let's go back one more time.
There's not a single staff member of TPF that's not PSL. And the curriculum that they proposed, was all PSL cadre classes. It was not. And when we suggested other things, they didn't like that. And when I tried to, bring people from other organizations onto the board of the school, they said no. They really wanted to shut down the Pal Action stuff. And then basically as a response to Pal Action, they did this shut it down thing with, that was the time in my life when, my sort of like
can you
activism.
Can you go to the article and do Control F and see if you could find what TPF is?
Control.
Do you remember that being in the?
Whoops, that's not what I was looking for. I'm not sure if Control F. Okay, and
you have a Windows, right?
No, it doesn't come up in this article. You maybe said it earlier in the video.
Did you do Control F and then it'll sit at the top right? It'll say, look for keywords. Yeah, I searched for TPF and it didn't pop up in the article at all. It must have this video is just a series of clips documenting his communist talking points in independent media and whatnot. Okay. Well, I'm not going to get too hung up on it, but I really wanted to know what it was. Because there is a thing called Turkish philanthropy funds. I'm trying to see, and he's a philanthropist.
I could just start over from the beginning and see the part where he's talking with this. Let me just start all the way back. It's only a minute, so we'll just see if he explains the context of the TPF. We just weren't paying close enough attention.
And then it's called pooledfund.org, and its acronym is TPF. Transportation Pooled Fund.
I think I figured it out just now that we've been talking about it long enough. It's probably the People's Forum, because that's one of the many organizations that he's claimed to fund, or Roy Neville Singham is claimed to fund. I think it's Neville Singham funds the People's Forum, and he is being critical here in this video. What seems to be going on is that the capitalist philanthropists support the people controlling who gets to have money to go be an activist in the US to do a protest here or there or whatever, like Code Pink, like Medea Benjamin. That's the person who started that, is the wife who co-founded that with Medea Benjamin, is the wife of this Roy Neville Singham that runs the PSL. Her name is Jody Evans or Julie Evans, Jody Evans, and she is, fun fact, whatever. She was the Democratic Party political activist who managed the 1992 U.S. presidential campaign of former California Governor Jerry Brown. So we've got a little bit of a connection to the Democratic Party from both sides of this ostensibly communist, whatever, spat, which is Neville Singham's wife was linked to the Democratic Party for a long time, whatever, a while ago, but for a long time back in the 90s, in a key role as a fucking presidential campaign,
But technically, kind of want most of us at some point in our lives until we figured it out. I'm not saying she figured it out. I'm just saying
they're acting like they're in a spat. Like I'm the real Slim Shady of like the leader of the Marxists in the United States, or whatever. But they both end up supporting the Democratic Party somehow, whatever. Like because he's Fergie Chambers is connected with the DSA. He's talking to this Black Red Guard guy who's a big whatever. He's got an online podcast. So he's like a DSA member, right? We're just talking shit about that other DSA member interviewed by Breonna Joy Taylor.
Yeah.
Right, so why is the DSA shitty? What are the things that we always criticize about financiers limiting the actual activities of the organization they're financing? So if you're not whatever in agreement with who fucking pays the bills, I guess you don't get to do the things you want to do. So they choose what the organization does, or the organization doesn't get the funding and it collapses. So this is one, as far as why is the DSA popular now, whatever, why is it still alive and other groups have failed? It's because these people, whatever, are keeping it alive or whatever, as opposed to allowing something else to occur. And so I wanted to get to let's just finish this video here, and then want to get to that Isaac Jasper video, because he says, I'm in agreement with what he says is a way to resolve this issue of these big, like, philanthropists, whatever. If they really want to help, if they actually have if they really want to be a class trader, they can't control our movements by deciding how much whatever money to give out and when and to who. They need to give all their money, whatever. If they inherit a massive fortune, they need to give it all away right away to let the people have ownership of actually redistribute the means of the fucking production. Otherwise, you're just fucking you may just be whatever, a wolf in sheep's clothing, or the fox that's more dangerous, you know?
Because isn't the lady who started the PSL, she's like rich, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And actually, doing a little investigation, how did this fucking, we're going to have to get to Singham after we kind of covered Chambers a little bit, but Singham, I found some disturbing kind of, I think he got his money from like the British Zionists, the Israelis or whatever. He sold his company, ThoughtWorks, to this Apax private equity firm. And this Apax, whatever's got like acquisitions in the Israeli food industry. And it's like, it starts to get a little bit disturbing to be all like, okay, so this Chinese, pro-Chinese, whatever, philanthropist that wants to control the U.S. Like socialist movement gets their money from who? Israel, right? And then, like, it's a little more complicated. It's not such a direct thing, like they literally got it from, but they sold their company for like $700 million to a private equity firm that is deeply invested in all this whatever imperialism all over the place, from Europe to Israel to the U.S. and everything, right? So this is the whole thing about how much like dirty politics are you allowed to get away with, you know, like not to be a purity fetish, whatever, but how in bed are you allowed to get with the Israelis before you're no longer a Marxist-Leninist? Let's play this video again here. So for the sake of time, we're already almost an hour in. So what's up, Lance?
Or radicalism went from theoretical to practical, and that primarily came through anti-police organizing. Anybody who's interested in the liberation of humanity at large has to prioritize opposing our imperialism.
It was very clear there were like feds looking at me. I don't mind saying that on here because I mean, the first time that was suggested was in like 2015, around like anti-police work in Atlanta.
If one class of people has all the political power and dominates the relations of property in a given society, then law enforcement in that society is going to work for them. And
That's
it's going
key.
to advance their interests, and it's going to do it violently. Then that's the deal, right? So we need to put our focus on disinheriting those people who run the show and recreating that system and building alternatives.
I mean, even since I've left, there have been, congressional subcommittees brought up to investigate like Students for Justice in Palestine chapters.
Yeah.
And you get back to the fact that, like, I mean, I've been giving money to Students for Justice in Palestine since like 2005.
Fergie might have a different opinion, but I think everybody's trash except for DSA, which I'm a member of. But like, no, my position is that we need to build a revolutionary communist party organized around Marxist-Leninist Maoist principles.
So just simple things like this. Like, there's just no way they weren't going to call me the T word at some point. They were just going to do that.
Stay away from PSL. If you're a rank and file member of PSL, you should probably leave. I've been telling people this for years.
Hey.
This has kind of pushed it all over the edge because, like,
Mike,
they're not going to treat you.
What's that?
I wonder if this guy right here, in the upper right hand corner, if he's
That's,
read.
I think he's Black Red Guard. I think his name is channel.
I wonder if he's read the 6-part series that Ben, what's his name? Ben Derby or whatever his name is. Well, the guy that was on Bad Faith.
Oh.
Remember
I wonder if he's read that
PSL?
Philippines colonized his 1600s colonial thing.
Yeah,
Good question. I wonder if it was on the top of his reading list that week.
exactly. And what's his name again? I gotta look it up.
I forget. I don't know if he's shared his name or if he keeps it anonymous, but Black Red Guard. Let me just make sure that's correct.
I'll look it up. Don't worry.
Yeah, go ahead and check out his content. But my criticisms of him is whatever, like, he's claims to be like a Maoist, and so what Maoists are these days in the U.S. are DSA members. Doesn't really seem to seems like a cognitive dissonance right there. So I don't know. I mean, I gotta learn up more about Maoism. There's a whole kind of convoluted history with that.
One more time. Black, red, what?
Black Red Guard,
Thank you.
or is it
A
Black
whole
Red
convo-
Green? Yeah, it should be Black Red Guard.
A whole convoluted history with Maoism. Yeah, it is. But is that him? Yep, that's him.
Yeah. Feel free to check them out in your own time. I just think that, like, our criticisms of DSA are sound, so his support of DSA is confusing, suspicious, call it what you like. So I think that's probably good. There's like 10 seconds left. We can maybe go to the next one. Or just might as well just let him finish. What are you
Yeah, go
saying?
ahead.
They're going to love bomb you. They're going to make you feel like you're the best, most special revolutionary ever. If you're a rich person like Fergie, they're going to take a shitload of your money and then they're going to put you out on your ass when you say something that they dislike.
I thought the DSA did that.
Right, that's the pot calling the kettle black. Apparently, with the from what I get,
That's like the biggest complaint I hear about them.
Yeah,
Maybe not your money, but if you don't have the exact same opinions of them, you can get the fuck out.
Well, it's telling that all of their revolutionary rhetoric, whatever, would have more power if they actually broke away from the Democratic Party, but they feel that it's still not the right time to do that, and so they, which kind of to me suggests that they actually would not survive outside of the Democratic Party for whatever reason. So what? I just don't think at this point, after watching the whole Biden, Harris, whatever, Trump election fiasco, that they went through that entire time. They were still trying to tell you to vote for Harris, and now after the collapse, whatever, like this catastrophic Trump administration, with the Democratic Party's trying to somehow whatever salvage their reputation to still be the only other option that you can vote for, and to get those nasty Trumpian Republicans out, whatever. You still have no choice, whatever. You have to go to the Democrats. That's fucking bankrupt as far as a socialist approach to politics. So I don't have a problem with saying, if you support the DSA, you don't really understand what's going on in politics. So here, this is Isaac Jasper from the Indigenous Nightmare Network. I will say he's been repeatedly saying how he's been struggling. I think he mentions in this video here, he's not sure if he's going to be able to continue keeping the show, keeping the lights on, basically, because he's not getting enough donations and he's struggling with bills and whatnot. And it's kind of difficult. Like I can relate to this. We can, relate to this. We're not really taking money for the show, and it's a lot of work. And if people aren't appreciating it, we have a real life to worry about too. So if you feel that this message resonates with you, if you want to support grassroots independent media as opposed to the compatible left, as people call it, consider supporting Isaac Jasper. Okay, so let's see what he has to say here. I maybe want to go back a little bit before he gets to the video, because he was saying some things that I felt were worth sharing as well. So let me see. I'm not sure how far back exactly to go. Let's just see if this is far enough.
Stopped completely, and I'm kind of glad that he did. But at the same time, was trying to.
What's that? You're saying something, Abby?
I was. Well, it was a joke. So Cowboy Kitty said, so if we're gonna grift, I guess this would be our grift, and spread wide eagle, pontificating on camera. I'd rather that than corral people back to the Democratic Party. We could talk about. We could read Mao on.
If you're trying to clout chase or whatever, certainly would be the most expedient way to go about it. Is sell a little bit of sex.
And I also think he is alluding to this new grift of the APAC. Like this chick, she's a podcaster or whatever, but she like sits on this nice chair, but she sits with her feet up, her legs are spread open, and she's like kind of rubbing on her thigh a little bit while she's talking, just like not trying to make it seem like she's trying to be sexual, but why is your cat in my face? And you have on a onesie, like a, what do you call those things? Spanx or whatever. And why are you sitting like that?
Yeah, the Israelis have nothing left, but they're pimping out their like daughters, basically, these young girls, teenagers, basically, 20-year-olds maybe.
Somebody
get them to sell their bodies while talking about the most horrific, whatever, like support of genocide with their mouth, but all you can pay attention to is their fucking tits.
Somebody, yeah, exactly. Somebody did an AI of Trump in an outfit like that. Oh, he looked like a little blob, and he's like sitting there talking about Iran, and he's like rubbing, but his is like way more emphasized. Like he's rubbing all the way up and down his thighs and down his legs, and it was hilarious.
Did they take away your number one cash cow, cookies? Uh-oh. It'd be hard to replace whatever legendary moneymaker like Andrew Tate, eh? Anyway.
See, what you got to do is Tate said what you have to do. He gave a whole like master class on how you start pimping them, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even have to pay $29.99 for this.
Yeah, I haven't been following that as close. Where I've just been hearing it's like a little bit of that Schadenfreude, the good news about awful people getting some of what they deserve. It seems like, anyways, it's part of like the issue. Maybe this is good you brought up Andrew Tate, because now it's probably like my instincts suggest it's just a fake prosecution. Like, would they really, like, why would they feel it necessary? I guess, like, at the end of the day, their assets are disposable, right? But has it really gotten to the point where they find it more valuable to dispose of an asset like Tate like Max Blumenthal, like Fergie Chambers, if this is the theory is correct here, wherever, as far as these are not the genuine radicals, they're the people in the independent media that they're supposed to suck up all the oxygen. And so when they go and they act like, oh no, the government's prosecuting me, I must be a real activist because the government's put me in jail or arrested me at the airport or wherever. That's part of how when we're getting onto them and people start to call them out, whatever, all of a sudden they have a legal
All of a
issue
sudden they get arrested.
to
Yeah.
talk to their assistants for. So
And they're like, don't push me too hard. Oh, hey, the cuffs are too tight. Sorry, man.
right. So, and isn't Tate's dad CIA? So the running theme there, the interesting parallels is sons of CIA agents, like next generation or whatever, coming of age kind of stuff, All right, let's just see, because this I found this extremely, like this kind of an interview. Shout out to any kind of independent, up and coming media content creator that is going to bring this kind of a parallax view that really like opens up the door. It's the rabbit hole for us to go down to understand, like, oh my God, there actually is credible reasons to suspect these people that everyone else is saying is the real deal. So without further ado here.
And make it seem like he created this process that I felt was very shitty in regards to who got money and who didn't.
So he's talking about Fergie. Let me back it up a little bit more.
Okay. I was just about to ask you.
Actually, and he discloses that he has personally received money from Fergie Chambers. That's important.
But what I do know is they don't believe people like Bad and Banana.
Yes.
Okay.
About himself, right? So he's being that honest.
That's
like,
being honest.
I'll report you about my own conflict of interest if one exists, right? So, and be let for you to judge, right? And that's what this is the thing about like someone like Kit Clarenberg at the Klein and Fall. You don't do that about Max Blumenthal, whatever. You don't disclose the kind of like if you don't come out against them when people are exposing them, you end up kind of running cover for them. And then it becomes a little bit like you're not willing to disclose your conflict of interest personally, but you want to act like this big anti-imperialist reporter. That's like way more professional than us, by the way. So for me to kind of come after someone like him is like, are you sure you want to play with that man, little boy? You know what I mean?
And it's weird because it's like, you didn't think eventually this would come out and it could ruin your entire like credibility. That alone, maybe he didn't.
Well, that's the thing.
Like Tucker Carlson didn't. He tried to play it off like he had no idea his dad was in the CIA.
But they clearly think that they're very protected as far as like there's not much risk here involved with carrying water from someone like Max Blumenthal or whatever, because like any smaller content creator that comes out against them or whatever is not really going to be able to do any reputational damage to them because they are sitting there doing what I called out in my article about the LaRouchites or whatever, this mutual validation through association. It's like a con artist tactic, right? What's up, Cookies? I don't know if I said hi to you. I don't know if that's what came out of me there, but hope not. I hope I don't have an inner Southern racist in me somewhere. I'm like the Canadians. We're the true North, eh? Whatever. Anyway. So shall we?
Yeah, please.
All right, here we go. Because I still got some other stuff to get to, too. Like, this might take a little while tonight. So, trying to get out of here before too late. So.
Before
they're not rooted in fucking truth.
Oh, shucks.
They're not rooted in truth at all. $16,000 a month, and you're telling me that you haven't created to.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say, everybody probably please put, throw some positive energy into the universe for Sean right now, please.
Sorry to hear that. Yeah. Hopefully you get seen very soon. Nobody loves, like, the ER suck or whatever. Nobody loves that.
Yeah. All right.
Please don't disappear. Positive vibe.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Of network that actually truthfully gets fucking information out there. All you've done is created a Discord, and then on the back end tell people like FD Signifier and Black Red Guard that you don't give a shit about the money that you make or the shit about the people. You just care about the money that you make. Wild to me, But speaking on the other troglodytes, let's get into the comments that were left by
activist Fergie Chambers.
Fergie Chambers was brung up on charges in Spain for organized terrorism and funding terrorism and extremism or whatever. I'm going to allow Laeth to say and lay down the truth behind Fergie Chambers and things that I've known this for quite some time. Again, for those that think that this network is just what it is, no, we are attached to some form of intelligence as well. So don't get this shit twisted. I don't do this shit for shits and giggles, and I sure as shit don't do this to play revolution. No. I got word that of who Fergie was from the jump years ago. I knew about it, or at least knew the goal in mind, that was to be for him to control a lot of the independent apparatus of media. I'll say this right now. Fergie donated $200 at one point to Tin Media for food, and donated $800 at one point to Tin Media for food and to pay for my rent. After that, he didn't like that I had to sit down with Diallo regarding the genocidal behavior of religion. So you can pick and choose, exactly how that is to be interpreted, but we were talking about all religions. And he stopped completely, and I'm kind of glad that he did, but at the same time was trying to make it seem like he created this process that I felt was very shitty in regards to who got money and who didn't. After this whole, not my ordeal, but just after he moved out of the country, and I started to see signs of this, especially when Tortuguita, may he rest in power, they rest in power, he fled after the RICO charges and was in Tunisia, and then I'm assuming went to Spain, but through the process of all this, I got information that he was said to be the next George Soros, or next Soros of media, of owning as much media that is to combat imperialism, or said to combat imperialism, as possible, and to use this money in that limelight. And so, at one point I was a little upset that I wasn't getting callbacks, but I don't want no callbacks. You guys can keep it. I don't want shit to do with y'all. But this is Laeth Marouf, who went into had his own ordeals with Fergie, where he was going to be receiving funding, and Fergie tried to play some shit on Twitter, and Laeth personally got on Twitter, now known as X, and called him out, and said and explained everything, went through the specs of it, the meetings, everything. And, he kind of laid back. And I think that was like not my opening, but for a lot of people messaging me were like, hey, you were right about them. Like, yeah, I was right about this. I knew about this for a couple of years now.
I'm just going to say before he hits play on the video that Laeth Marouf, I believe he's a Lebanese journalist, like anti-imperialist. He's if you haven't seen his
he's
work,
on Free Palestine TV.
Yeah, he's I feel like he's very sincere, and he's there's a criticism that's very valid about people from the West want to look at the issue of Palestine, and they want to talk about it, formulate their opinions about it, and not really actually talk to the Palestinian activists themselves, or the Lebanese or the Syrians. We want to kind of describe their situation for them and not have their input. And so it becomes kind of, I feel like, a very important anecdotal evidence, you might say, but that if Laith Marouf is feeling that there's been some betrayal or disingenuousness from this person, frankly, of a different class as far as wealth we're talking about there. This is a person whose life has been physically put at risk by the Israeli regime. And so if we're going to take like a Fergie Chambers opinion over Laith Marouf, that might imply like some kind of white supremacy implicit or explicit bias in your thinking, okay? Or at the very least, like settler colonial kind of mentality about who does and does not get to speak the truth, you know?
Let's go.
But here's Laith Marouf talking about Fergie Chambers and what has happened. And, you know, like Laith said, I don't condone the imprisonment of anybody that is fighting for the resistance of Palestinians or any people in general. But I, at the same time, do not agree with a lot of the things that Fergie says. Mainly because they're rooted in like him pretending like he isn't a part of the white Western fucking model, and that the money that he has, that I'm not, you're not. If you've paid into Charter Communications, Cox Cable, Xfinity, Spectrum, anything related to Cox in America, they owe you money. Meaning that should be an open fund for everybody, to be able to get whatever they need, should be able to go and get a stipend, or it should be distributed evenly. But he's picking and choosing, and he picked his organizations, he picked his networks. Some of your favorite networks he picked, he was actually on right as he gave them the money. Some of your good, you know, community organizations, you know, are connected to him. So, you know, here's just Laith laying it all down, basically, that it was all planned from the get-go for him to have a specific role in regards to controlling a revolutionary and radical narrative.
Last night, that multimillionaire Cox Enterprise heir and activist Fergie Chambers was arrested recently in Ibiza, Spain. And they are the United States is working to extradite him from Spain under charges of funding terrorists. Of course, there was condemnation from the Podemos party in Spain. Do you have any word on this?
Yeah, I mean, look, there could be two things happening here. And I just want to say that I am against anyone being extradited to the United States, not only Fergie Chambers, Cox. But, you know, I don't know if he will get extradited or not. If he doesn't, this definitely will give him more street cred. So this could be part of this game to re-give this millionaire, who has been described to me by intelligence agents that I spoke to over the last few months here and abroad, and former intelligence agents, Syrian and Spanish and others, as the new Soros, with his activities, spending all this money on media. So it's according to intelligence agents that I spoke to, this man has been given the role to capture the radical media spaces around the world that are doing production in English through his donations, and then, you know, sway.
So, sorry, that might be a bit of a caveat worth mentioning. He did say that he's getting this from the intelligence community. So take that for what it's worth. It's always worth being cautious whenever we hear that someone's information is coming from an intelligence community.
So it's possible it's a smear.
It could be that they fed him something that he thought would be credible or whatever, just to keep that in mind. I'm thinking that's probably not the case, but that's the whole thing, right? To get us whatever in a labyrinth of mind games about whatever, not understanding what's happening. You know, like I don't know. Not to and I wasn't trying to interrupt like what he's saying. I'm just trying to point that just for the fair, trying to be as fair as possible to understand from anybody who doesn't know anything about anything. When you're trying to listen to figure out what the truth is, you always have to have a grain of salt when information's coming from an intelligence source.
So what is he saying, Michael? Because Bad Cookies thinks he's saying Fergie isn't as Fergalicious as she says she is.
He's basically saying what.
You didn't get the joke.
Sorry.
It's a Black Eyed Peas
to the joke.
Black Eyed Peas joke.
Ignoring that. Yeah.
Oh.
I wasn't taking the moment to laugh. I was in my serious mode.
Yeah, you was in your serious
mode. What was he actually saying? Right?
Sometimes we gotta shake his ass. Get out of there and laugh.
Yeah, this is why people just want to put people like me on some fucking medication or whatever. How dare you be so fucking sour all the time? Where's your sweetness? Come on. But I think what he is saying is basically what Isaac Jasper already said, is that Fergie appears to be being the intelligence community, whatever, leaked to him that that Fergie Chambers is inheriting the position that George Soros had as far as being the controlled opposition of the anti-imperialist left media. So let's let him make the case, right?
Them on certain files away from their positionality. And so that's what we see him. He basically bought all the landscape of progressive media. Yeah, and what we away from and the world that are doing production in English through his donations, and then sway them on certain files away from their positionality. And so that's what we see him. He basically bought all the landscape of progressive media and is funding all of them.
Yeah, he funds Breakthrough News. He funds, I think it's in Nkrumah, the African Stream, the New African Stream. He funds in some capacity, like people like Matt Kennard, Declassified UK, Navarra New Media. The list goes on. He can community movement builder.
I would like to see like a documentary source for this. I appreciate the hearing the claim, the allegation, but now I would like to see that where that information is coming from. Maybe we'd have to, I do watch the Indigenous Nightmare YouTube channel. Maybe I could reach out to him. We could see if you want to have him on the show or something, but because that seems like he's speaking about it credibly, confidently, and so I would imagine he probably does have a source on that. He doesn't seem like the type to be making unfounded allegations. However, I have only really been following him for a few months, for 6 months at most, kind of thing. So, anyways, just wanted to make that comment.
There's so many people that he has funded, and it makes me question why he specifically handpicked these specific organizations. Well, based off of the intelligence that was given to Laeth via Syria and Spain, what I was able to compile and what people were able to tell me, which this was almost a year and a half ago, this was still going on when Tortuguita was still alive, when Fergie was creating this little fucking sex cult in the middle of fucking Massachusetts, I believe, upstate Massachusetts, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Some sources for this would be intriguing because he's saying some interesting stuff. Because this is what they're saying as far as you want to, maybe even if he does feel bad genuinely for the Palestinian cause, I think he's about to say basically like, you can't really buy your soul back from, I think Laith maybe will be the one who says this, whatever. He says something like, you can't like undo the whatever like sins you've already done as far as like whatever using the blood money for drugs and hookers kind of shit, you know, and now you want to look good. And it's the typical rich boy thing, right? Like, I can clean my soul with my money, whatever, while dirtying my... Anyway, I don't know. I shouldn't be too critical. Whoever knows what they would do if they ever came into that kind of money, you know? There's partly, right, like, a person like me kind of prefers to be poor almost sometimes because I don't want to be tempted with that amount of money. On the flip side, I know that the reason why people are pursuing that kind of money is the power that it brings. We can't really change anything if we intentionally make ourselves powerlessness to be pure, you know, powerless, not powerlessness. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? So there's a whole lot of like, there's the moral aspect to this. And then there's the tactical consideration. As far as the pragmatists would say is they would say, you can have all of your judgments all you like, but there's a reason why people get things done and people like you talk about it, you know. But let's carry on here. Unless you got anything else to say? Okay.
He was connected to this guy named Plants Fanon who was pretending to be a weed grower. So it was supposed to be growing weed for fucking Fergie. And got over on Fergie for like thousands of dollars and was able to stay at his house with all these other fucking people and shit to join his little fucking cult. So like to know that
a little bit of background, because I did some research. I'll just say as far as the cult thing, he's talking about you know how we did that thing about LaRouche or whatever. LaRouche did this thing about like buying a private compound. And then people can come on to the, like making a little commune and then like training radicals on the commune. And there's a whole brainwash cult kind of accusation or aspect to that's very natural. Because now that they've gone to do their private training camp in the woods or whatever, like with their private money, and then we got all these people coming out with accusations about controlling this and controlling that or whatever, like, there's maybe an echo of LaRouche with that. We'll see, right? Let's watch it unfold. See if people are throwing the cult label around, whatever, just to be dramatic, or I don't think so. We'll see.
The Leah said this. It one proves that what I said before was truthful, but secondly, it also proves a narrative. The Eminence Front. The Eminence Front exists with Fergie as well. It's a put on. These people are to sit up at the highest echelon of fucking status in their minds, and everybody else is just supposed to believe what they say. The Abby Martins, the Anna Kasparians, the Cenk Uyghurs, the Fergie Chambers, all of these networks that he funds and shit. Matt Kennard, Drop Site News, Ryan Grimm. Ryan Grimm just said he's going to back Graham Plattner. You think people are going to stop donating to Drop Site? You think people are going to hold Jeremy Scahill to the standard that he needs to be held? Or better yet, is anybody going to call out Mehdi Hassan for not calling out fucking Taylor Lorenz for putting a Palestinian disabled woman in danger, for which may soon will be on this network to speak her truth pretty fucking soon? No. So the intelligence that was given to Laeth, same shit I heard. And to know that people like Bad Empanada were probably fucking funded by fucking Fergie is crazy. That's wild. That's wild to me.
Well,
that somehow the Spanish government.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll never get through it if I just keep doing that. But I was just going to say, there's so much news going on that we could never know everything that's happening. So did that thing that happened escape Mehdi's radar, or did he ignore it on purpose? You see what I'm saying?
What's that?
Or I said there's so much going on that we're never going to be able to absorb all of the information all the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, did that news escape Mehdi's radar, or did he ignore it on purpose?
That's always the thing, right? Did you miss it or ever? Are we giving you the benefit of the doubt or not? Basically, you know.
Right. Because to exclude information that's as big as of a lie as to like, but nobody's gonna know you're lying because they don't know if you tried to exclude on purpose or not.
There's a couple other reasons too. You could probably think of more if we sit here and try, but like I would say, like quickly, when we get a little tired or cynical and frustrated that we're not being supported, maybe we have more to share and we start to pull back and slow down a little bit because we're not feeling valued or something, you know. And if that would be like a more of an like a less controversial reason to hold something back, you know, like there's a reason why people, like, there are morally acceptable reasons to keep something private, and then there are morally unacceptable reasons, especially when it comes to like somebody's safety, right? What did you know? When did you know it? That's the thing with the COVID thing, right? With this, when they were trying to do the things with the lockdown, everyone was saying like the Trump administration, where they knew about it ahead of time, but then they did the insider information with the market manipulation, and then they did the lockdowns. So then if you believe that the virus threat was real, the point is what I'm saying, like, is that they knew about a deadly pandemic about to descend on everybody, and they decided to gamble on the stock market for a few weeks first. So that's the whole thing about, if you know something, you should say something. That's a valid kind of universal principle. But then when you get into particulars about stuff, you see that there's, you know, those universal kinds of claims can be a little bit condescending sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we continue?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The landscape of progressive media and is funding all of them. And so that's one thing. On the other, this is a chance for those who claim in Spain and around the world that somehow the Spanish government is pro-Palestinian to actually, number one, realize they're not. Look at the actions, not the words. The Spanish government and the Prime Minister of Spain actually are, in my opinion, the Erdogan of the European Union. Erdogan is in the Muslim world, is a big talker against Israel, but is also the biggest supplier of Israel in terms of foods and many of the diapers for the Israeli soldiers and what have you, right? So Spain and the Spanish government are like that in terms of the European Union. They talk, but under the table, they are one of the biggest purchasers of Israeli weapons, and still much of the Israeli products or products going to Israel that are coming through the Mediterranean stop in Spain and Spanish ports and what have you. So this is a chance for anyone that is in Spain and is anti-Zionist to, pressure the Spanish government, even if it is in the name of this Cox guy, to kind of expose the complicity. That's the chance that people have. You want to expose the complicity of the Spanish government and its hypocrisy, the difference between its words and actions. You have a chance right now. Do I wish this guy who threatened my life openly on the internet and said he will kill me and said he will beat me and called me names and used propaganda from the Zionists and the Canadian government to,
for you guys that don't know, Fergie Chambers' wife is connected. Her father is either her father or her grandfather is on the Epstein files. This was all information that I gave out there. No one listened at the time because no one cared. So it as much as it brings a fucking joy to my heart that a person like Laeth Marouf, who's been on this network, who's entrusted me with information, is out there, and we might not have spoken in 2 years because of whoever's handling his appointment settings for interviews, but nonetheless we have always agreed on this sentiment. These people think because they have millions of dollars that they could just say and do as they please. They create the eminence front, they create the put on, and then tell Palestinians like Laith Marouf, tell Lebanese people like Laith Marouf, indigenous people of West Asia, that they're not worthy of his money anymore because they're not willing to spread a fucking a narrative. But going back to, as stated, Fergie Chambers' wife, either her parents or grandparents were a part of fucking Epstein files. This is the type of money that they're playing with right now. It's not just multi-millionaires, it's multi-billionaires. This money is endless and it stretches. It goes on. $1 million to Fergie is like $100. He can just throw it, spit it out, and it not cost a dime. Literally, it's a dime to him.
Yep.
So I stand with Laith, and when I seen that hole, I'm gonna actually bring up the Laith Marouf document that he called when he called his ass out, and called him what the fuck he is, a fucking nepo baby with money.
Selling my name. Do I wish him to be in jail and killed? I don't wish that on anyone, especially being in the jails of the United States or the Spanish regime. Do I want to, pile up with the rest of these people that are all posting freedom to fair to do that, right? But I will sit on the side as an observer, watching the game of the American white elite beating each other up. Fergie Chambers is a member of a despicable family, the Cox family, that made their millions propagating for imperialist and Zionist positions. And this man has taken this 250 million from his family and is using it as play money to purchase the media that could be radical around the world. And he's claiming that this is generosity. Well,
and he's picking and choosing. I'm glad that's what he's doing. He's picking and choosing who he wants to give money to. And then he's doing
don't you kind of have to pick and choose who you want to
being the head.
Well, yeah, that's a fair point. If any one of us tried to be a leader of a communist movement in our country, and we ended up if we are running a political party, which is like the Marxist-Leninist thing is not to say that we should do the direct action and not forget about a party, whatever. Like the democratic centralist approach, which is like the PSL approach that Fergie's criticizing, is that we should be we do the democratic process, but then we centralize, we pick a leader, whatever, we do what they say. We have discipline solidarity, as opposed to the direct action. The more anarchist approach tends to be more kind of short-term, more disorganized, decentralized. Is a little bit harder for the fascist regime to kind of pin it on one leader, but it's also the classic problem of anarchism, where we end up going in all directions all at once, and we don't actually get anything. No revolution will happen because we are not being organized and disciplined enough, and under a vanguard. So that's definitely some of that's going on here, unless you can't trust the vanguardist either, in which case you get kind of this kind of nihilistic reading of the situation where we're fucked, we're cooked, where I guess it's over, whatever, because there's nowhere to turn. ACP's a joke, garbage, whatever, right? Fucking PSL, joke, garbage. DSA, same thing. Green Party, never gonna get anywhere. There is no hope for the left, and that's kind of the intent, I think, right? To leave us with no organized group that we can work with without getting arrested by the fucking federal government or getting absolutely nowhere and giving up our lives and money to a bunch of fucking grifters.
So I looked up Fergie's wife's father. His name is, be careful. Okay. His name is Julian, thank you, Shonable. And Shonable, what how you pronounce it? So I looked it up on the Epstein search, and his name does appear several times, but I'd have to sit up here and look through them to see what it appears for, just because the name appears.
Context, yeah, that's definitely
right. But it is up here several times, so I just put it. You see it on the screen. If you want to go look yourself, because I'm just hearing this, so I don't know
exactly. He said a lot of like extraordinary claims, right? The whole require extraordinary whatever. Like he said some sensational things at least, and like some claims worth fact checking, right? And so if people maybe want to leave in the comments or something, we tend to forget about asking people if they feel free to comment on the video if you like it. Or whatever.
And
but let us know if you want to do a follow up, is what I'm saying, and we can try and dig into some of this. He's given us some juicy tidbits as far as what to investigate on.
We can. Michael and I can commit to going through these files if you guys are interested. Is what he's saying. Yeah. Now, Shauna Bell is he's a filmmaker, so maybe from the Gold Rush TV show. Let's see. He is an American painter and painter and filmmaker in the 80s. He's received like Cannes Film Festival Awards, Golden Globe Awards, Academy Awards, Best Director. I'm going to do a Command F, and I'm going to put in this Gold Rush and see if it comes up. It does not come up on his Wikipedia page.
All right, well, let's not get too much up on that. That's what I'm saying.
I just wanted to do it real quick, and then so now we can move on. But let us know if you guys want us to dig deeper into this, or if you want to just do it yourself.
Yeah, that's where we should maybe shout out the Discord. If anybody wants to share stuff with us as far as what they'd like us to cover, the best way to reach us would be to join our Discord, and then you can message directly, and I'll get it. So,
but there's also a hashtag about show suggestions. I think I created one.
Also a hashtag about what?
Show suggestions.
That's right. And so if you join the Discord, which I just put into the chat, there it is. Then you can put your show suggestion in the show suggestion, whatever you call those things, categories. Yeah. Please join our community. Help us grow grassroots socialist independent media. It very much needed now more than ever. So let's instead of just agonizing about all this corruption and getting depressed about it, let's try and organize. If we are not organizing a political party, we can maybe do the proto-political organizing at the very least. We can do like a media collective that would be aimed at not being one of these fucking co-opted think tanks, which would be a challenge because if you build it, they will come. But let's do our best to learn the fucking discipline theory and understand why people to this day are still telling you to go fucking read Lenin and Mao and Stalin and shit, because there's things that they said about how to protect ourselves from this kind of, like, they're going to attack us if we try to achieve liberation. It's not hard to understand. And they're going to come at us 6 ways through Sunday. So we need to actually take it seriously and you know, be a bit more of a militant kind of organization and accept the kind of consequences that come with that, or else we're just playing like Political Matrix was saying, whatever. We would just be playing around, cosplaying at being some kind of revolutionary, whatever. When the reality is we ain't getting fucking nowhere. That's pretty cynical, apathetic, and nihilistic to me, whatever. I feel like as horrible as things are, I don't think it's idealistic and delusional to believe that we can actually have a real society instead of this fake insanity that we all have just been desensitized into accepting as like normalizing into acceptability. Okay, but let's try and get back to finishing up this. I think this video is almost done here, and then I had another article. I'm not sure how much more need to get into too much more. I wanted to get into some of the Singham stuff actually, so there's quite a lot more we can get into. And then if you wanted to, we can play a little bit of the Blue Moon Red Wine thing about Max Blumenthal, because there's the fact that, well, I do want to play a little bit of the Fergie Chambers interview with Max Blumenthal on the Gray Zone, just to kind of like give you their side of the story. Like, let the defendant speak for himself, you know. And then I think people are going to want to hear what Blue Moon, if I can find the right place in the video, what she talks about Max specific, like imperialist, like whitewashing in the media that we all would criticize the mainstream media of, or whatever. He did some like genocidal shit as far as like writing propaganda for the for the Libya situation for Hillary Clinton and whatnot, engineering some of this fucking like bloodshed basically through his lies in the media. You know, the same thing, same reason why we say some of these independent media or some of the mainstream media people, like, we shed no tears for them, you know, when they get kidnapped from a certain kind of organization connected to a certain Zionist entity. You know what I mean? Like,
before you press play,
yeah, let's get to it.
Say.
Well, I'm saying it's shocking how evil some of these independent media people could be. Maybe if these people are correct, I think they are. So
of it all.
Wait, I said
this
before
is the
you
goal.
press play.
Sorry,
I just have to say, if anybody in this damn chat hooks up, I want to be your. I'm not going to be your matron of honor. No, your maid of honor. But I want to be the second maid of honor. And Nahiro should be the second best man, since, you know, he came out of our channel. I'm just saying. I see what y'all got going on in this chat.
some people preparing to walk the aisle, are they? Best of luck to you.
Or at least take a tumble in a rumble.
Tumble in the haystack or something.
Go ahead, press play.
Oh, revolution. All that when you see him, it's fucking. I don't understand how people, again, I don't understand how people can deeply fucking think that people like him deserve a seat at the goddamn table just because they have fucking money. And the Gray Zone, Max Blumenthal, Aaron Mate, I don't know if you guys know this, but they come from the same fucking fraternity. Their parents come from what? Military contract money. They come from the military industrial complex. Their fucking family members were lobbyists. Their parents were lobbyists and scientists and shit. They went to the best schools and went to the best frat schools and whatnot. So even these motherfuckers are disgusting. And I wasn't even showing what I was supposed to be showing. My bad. I want to continue what Laeth is saying because it's again, it all makes sense now to people, I'm pretty sure. Because a big name like Laeth Marouf has said it, but I'd known this for fucking the jump and may let people, was filling people in. Didn't care then.
Well, this is not his money. This is blood money. The revolutionary thing to do is to go in, crash his palace, and to redistribute the money. That's the revolutionary thing to do. This man cannot clean his name and his drug abuse and his abuse of women as a guy that has money, okay, by suddenly spending some money on Palestine. No, I don't want Palestine in his mouth. I don't want Palestine to be associated.
Damn. Say, get Palestine out your mouth.
I'm gonna put this back up, but
fighting words.
That multimillionaire.
It is.
His abuse of women as a guy that has money, okay, by suddenly spending some money on Palestine. No, I don't want Palestine in his mouth. I don't want Palestine to be associated with Fergie Cox.
okay. So I thought maybe I might have cut that off, but let's just go down it. Let me put my beautiful face on screen. I mean, I'm trying to find, okay, right here. This was this is the person that irritates the shit out of me, because she has a either direct line to his bank account, or he's funded her to where she never ever has to fucking worry about fucking shit.
Does that say CALLA?
Says not.
Oh, sorry. That's Kala Walsh. I didn't really know much about her, but I had looking into her. She seems to be one of these really prominent, like the pro-Palestine, anti-imperialist, social media influencers. The like the Trump administration and them. They'll like use, or the media will like demonize her, make her out to be like a real activist, but I'm not sure if they all are in on it, and we know full well that this is one of the puppet opposition, you know. She'll get mentioned a little bit later on in some of the stuff if we get to covering the Neville Singham stuff. I think we should cover it together, because this is like they're being persecuted together, whatever, indicted at the same time. But it's also like worth kind of, it's so much content, it might be worth doing like a Singham show, dedicate a whole show to Neville Singham, you know, and the PSL. We've never talked about the PSL. We talked about DSA, but I haven't really known enough, looked into them enough. I've heard it, all kinds of people saying things like expressing suspicions about them and whatnot. So I've had a little bit of a tip off that there might be something wrong with that organization. I think that there might be some, as far as my criticisms of China, and it very much seems like Singham is being directed, whatever, influenced, like he's operating on behalf of China with a kind of plausible deniability. So I don't think he's like completely just doing independent minded, like whatever he wants to fund the Western media, whatever. I feel like he's got to be in communication with the Communist Party of China, and is like coordinating activity with that. Sort of sounds like I'm just saying the sort of things exactly like the Trump administration is saying, whatever. Like, therefore, they are terrorists and treasonous and guilty, whatever. The difference here with Singham compared to Fergie Chambers is that no matter what, they can indict him all they like, but he's living in China. So unless China's going to fucking extradite him, he's untouchable. Right? So that's partly where that's a criticism too, is that we have the ACP. What kind of a party is a real American party if their leaders are, you've got high up leadership living in Russia? That's not an independent American party. That's a fucking dependent on foreign influence kind of party that would be rejected if it was, you know, a nation you don't like. And so if PSL is a similar situation, that's a party run by China, out of China, like from China. That's not an American political party that should be in power, because you should never have a foreign country ever successfully electing officials in your country if you actually care about nationalism. You know, this is partly where the anarchist in me, whatever, says, yeah, this is kind of what we get for fucking around with nationalism, right? You can't, like, sometimes you can't fix what's already broken. It's been broken a long fucking time, right? And that's what I get with nationalism. Right? But we gotta believe, like with the religion thing, as if it's so many people out there, because it's a popular thing, you must be wrong to think that it's one of the causes of our continuous failure, you know? It's the future unknown of what kind of a society do we have without a nation. That's just like thinking too much outside the box, but we're getting a little bit too far on a tangent. I think that's probably a good enough point to leave it there. So maybe just support the whatever you call it. Go ahead and give, God damn it, try to exit full screen. Go ahead and give the Indigenous Nightmare Media group a follow if you like. So moving on to the next.
Okay. Let's see.
Go ahead.
Here we go. I don't know. I better start it over. I accidentally X'd out of it. Lance, you are so bad. Everybody's bad. Oh, that's why. It's a Substack. It's right here. Okay. Yeah. The case of Fergie Chambers, is that what I'm?
So I thought that this was probably worth reading, even though it's kind of a.
Oh, I gotta subscribe to.
What you looking at?
Oh, something else you sent me, but I'd have to upgrade and subscribe to get it. The case for Fergie Chambers. That's not what you want. Okay, you want this? Can you make it bigger though?
Yeah. Is that better?
Yeah.
So this will kind of be a way to bridge the conversation over to Neville Roy Singham a little bit. And actually one thing I'd like to maybe close out on would be on Neville Roy Singham's father, Archibald Singham. He was apparently like a political scientist, like academic kind of guy. And it's a good like contrast as far as we're talking about Fergie Chambers and his parents were this Cox family, like media mogul, fucking capitalist tycoon. And then in contrast, Neville Roy Singham's father is like this Sri Lankan, like academic who says all these some things that we probably would resonate with us. But anyway, I'm getting a.
But you want me to pull up before you start that? You want me to pull up Extra Bulla's Blue Moon Red Wine, right?
Right. Yeah, I'll share the link with you here in the private chat.
I can just pull it up.
All right. Yeah, it's called Indie Media Follies with Blue Moon Red Wine, Extra Bulla Live.
Oh no, maybe you should just send it.
It was a long, like 2-hour show, and I encourage people to watch the whole thing. I would want to try and find a certain part of it that she mentions Max Blumenthal's carrying water for Hillary Clinton, whatever, in the Libya situation, because that's very much in contrast with the public image that he portrays of himself as being an anti-Zionist, like anti-imperialist, independent journalist, one of the real professionals, one of the real trustworthy professionals. And yet, that's kind of a Zionist, pro-Zionist kind of thing for him to do, I would say, to help destroy Libya.
There's a question here, and I I think it would be good to be answered from Jacqueline. She says, I just thought of something whilst I was having a Siggy break. Would Lenin be a successful revolutionist if he had been born, say, 30 years ago instead of over 100 years ago? I don't even think 30 years ago. Are you talking about in the Americas? Because I don't even think 30 years ago we would have been ready.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say my instincts, maybe I'm pessimistic. I would say no, probably not. I don't think he would be.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But at the same time, my whatever analytical, annoying scientific side says that's a counterfactual kind of question, as far as you could never get an answer out of that because history unfolded the way it did. And so that's
I'm gonna say why.
One question to ask, but you can't really. It's unanswerable, really. You know,
it is unanswerable. But like, if I had to give an answer, I would say because we needed to go through this trajectory, and right now, I'm just gonna say this: I don't know when the racist white community is going to forgive America for electing a black man. That's all this is.
which is similar
And
to.
they are willing to throw their own people under the bus just to make sure the hierarchy remains what it is. So you shot your own self in the foot, thinking you were going to get a one up on the black community, and now you down bad. So now more people are resonating with socialism because we are so close to late stage capitalism that they're going to have to do what Lyndon B. Johnson did. They're going to try to save capitalism by providing some socialism to shut everybody up. Just shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Here, take this.
It's the democratic socialist way. Is to give us those concessions to actually prevent the real revolution. So,
So that would be my answer. But
what you just said kind of reminded me. It's a bit apples and oranges, but as far as like they'll never forgive them for electing a black president, it reminded me of the quote. I forget which Soviet general it was, but he said that Europe will never forgive the communists for defeating the fascists. You know, so it's kind
Europe
of a parallel there.
Okay. Yes, Europe will never forgive the communists for beating the fascists.
And we see it almost playing out today, like it was a prediction, because now we see NATO is just not allowed to let Russia be. I'm just saying, right?
Go ahead. I don't know if you finished your statement.
I
got excited.
Europe, NATO is vindicating that man, whoever that was. I forget which general he was, but he said that, and now look at what Europe's doing today. They are not forgiving Russia. On the contrary, all they have to do is encroach NATO closer and closer so they can try and destroy Russia. So. And
the United States and France will never forgive Haiti for overthrowing them in the Haitian Revolution. The United States will never forgive American descendants of slavery for fighting their way out of slavery, because they say, oh, the Republicans freed the slave. No, what really happened was millions of slaves fled and got to the north and went to join the Union. Abraham Lincoln did not want them to join the Union. The Union didn't want them to join the Union. Yep. But they said, fuck all that. We not leaving. So what we about to do? So they allowed them to join the army because they had no other choice. Because what were you going to do? Snatch millions of these people up and send them back? Because Abraham Lincoln told them to send them back. How?
And that would have been like an addition that their whatever that the Southern political kind of pro-slave like Confederate kind of viewpoint was correct if they had did the humiliation of sending all those slaves back or whatever. So they did the opportunistic thing of, well, then we'll use them to defeat our enemies, you know. But that's a better parallel for sure, as far with the.
Well, all of them are good, I think.
Forgive us, you know.
Yeah, all of them are good because all of them are true. Like,
Yeah. I saw a question by XD. Is a good question. If the Chinese can actually influence U.S. politics to get them to fuck off from the world, what grounds do you have to oppose that? I thought the accusation is China is complicit with the U.S. That's a good question, and that's where it gets to be, as far as setting aside the moral judgments for the tactical argument. You make a good case as far as if we analyze, try to be objective as far as the consequences, if there's billions of dollars lost. I think that's one of the accusations that the Trump administration has been making, or whatever, that this guy is like sabotaging. Let me see, is it a Bitcoin policy, foreign influence in the campaign against American AI, the Singham ground game. So they are saying that the PSL campaigns in 14 states that blocked $23.6 billion in AI investment, and asks who is funding Singham's network political arm. So the neocons are basically like, they got the knives out for Singham for like helping them lose the AI race against China. And so from that angle, definitely XD. I would definitely be, that would be my weakness of letting my anarchist tendency blind me to the bigger picture that might be the more effective route to revolution. So I hope that's a good answer to your question. I'm just trying to be like, from the Western perspective, like, we have to recognize that we are not really going to win people over with the argument of like, let China destroy America and our lives in the process, because for the rest of the world, the bigger picture, the greater good, that's the better thing to do. It's a kind of a suicidal socialist kind of perspective. You know, it's like, our thing to do is to jump on this grenade for the rest of the world, or whatever. I'm just saying, like, tactically, whatever, good luck kind of selling that to actually get people to bring down the empire. You know what I mean? So like, this is definitely a great, that's why I'm saying we should educate ourselves on this, whatever situation, because I think these evolving pictures helping us understand what is and is not the right approach. This is, let me try and read this article up here, whatever, but I think this is a good way to think of it, is that like the Chambers side is more the direct action approach, and the Singham side is the more democratic centralist, right? For better or worse. If we frame it that way, we'll see, is that the accurate way to frame it? So shall I get to reading here?
Yep.
Okay. So this is from Stu Smith at cityjournal.org. Probably some neocon. Who knows? Feuding communist millionaires reveal a secret network powering America's radicals. A recent rant from Cox Media heir Fergie Chambers shows where Congress should focus its next investigation. Sounds like an imperialist to me. So this is from June 1st, before Chambers was indicted in Spain. So Jim Fergie Chambers, the communist millionaire and heir to the Cox Media fortune, has long bankrolled one of the nation's most militant protest networks. But in recent weeks, he has turned his fire on a putative ally, Shanghai-based tech billionaire Neville Roy Singham, who himself funds a transnational web of far-left groups. What's going on? In a series of ex-posts, Chambers alleged that Singham's network of nonprofits and activist groups has tried to redirect insurgent organizing into tightly controlled institutions linked to the Party for Socialism and Liberation, a U.S.-based revolutionary communist party. Chambers sees Singham's operation as turning their back on direct actionists, implying that Singham prefers exercising control over the movement to enabling the sort of serious radicalism Chambers endorses. Keep in mind, though, that the direct actionist framing comes from Chambers himself, who we just listened to Laith Maruth's criticisms of him, as far as that's the pot calling the kettle black situation here, implying that Singham prefers exercising control over the movement. Well, isn't that what the Maruth just said that Chambers was doing in in a different way, a little bit more like the Democrat or whatever, I'll stab you in the back instead of the front kind of thing. The whole thing, that reason why people don't like the democratic social or democratic centralist approach is that it's a little bit more like, we have our line, we're sticking to it. If you don't agree with that, fuck off, right? That's more stabbing you in the front instead of the back, you know, but it's more fucking honest. So the conflict between the two is in part another example of the left's tendency to collapse into infighting. This is the other thing to keep in mind as far as like what the right is thinking of when they're watching, as far as who we decide to support in this, you know, or not support at all. Does it make the stereotype of the left or whatever more true or not? So, but more importantly, Chambers' criticism offers a rare public window into the inner workings of the Singham network, one of the radical left's most effective and prolific organizing operations. And in its surfacing of the importance of the PSL to that network, Chambers' commentary highlights a potent target for policymakers looking to dismantle Singham's influence operation. Chambers is one of the main funders of America's radical left. His money has flowed to a host of projects in the anti-imperialism organizing space. This includes a recent $1 million Ramadan donation to Palestinian causes, including a group that advances terrorist sympathetic messages in America's schools. So as we see the angle of this fucking Zionist journal, right? Chambers claims that he and Singham are effectively the two primary financiers of the U.S. radical left. Despite this, the two have apparently been at loggerheads, a conflict that has now gone public. Chambers' attack appears to have been triggered by the Singham-aligned People's Forum's choice, that's the TPF we were wondering about, I think, to host an event with Khat Abu Ghazala, the former Media Matters journalist turned congressional candidate. The event drew backlash from more militant-aligned factions of the radical left. Radical activist Kala Walsh, a Chambers friend, has denounced Abu Ghazala as a neocon over her support for arming Ukraine and Taiwan. So this is a curious thing as far as our traditional message has been. If you support Taiwan and Ukraine, you're probably a fascist, and we probably shouldn't treat you like a real anti-imperialist. So if Singham's aligned People's Forum is doing this, whatever kind of controversial, like compromising action of like working with these people, like let me show you this Khat Abu Ghazal. As soon as I show you this video, you guys are gonna think this is ridiculous, right? Like,
can I? So oh damn, I was trying to look him up. So Ukraine just didn't they just bomb Iran?
Exactly. They bombed some Iranian boats in the Black Sea. Yeah. And
yeah. So I think we're in full-fledged World War III, but we could talk about that later.
Yeah, but that's an excellent point. Like, how are people to this day still trying to make excuses for working with people who are going to be like doing the pro-Ukraine, pro-Taiwan, pro-Palestine? What? No, like you have to know what side of history you're actually on at this point. But it does kind of makes a little sense as far as if you're not being too much like if you're not being too sympathetic towards China and you try and be more critical of them, you look at their, like I was talking about, their problematic acceptance of like Eurasianism that's going on with Russia. I'm going to have to get into that more with people to understand. People don't understand how far right that kind of bullshit is, how anti-Bolshevik it is. And so it's just a little bit like if China's gone full like tactical, like throw the morality out the door, I guess, as far as like potential red-brown alliances. Like the thing about it actually does, if it's a 4D chess thing, you can kind of make sense of it logically as far as if this person's supporting Taiwan, Roy Singham's getting his orders from China, then China doesn't have a problem with PSL candidates supporting Taiwan, which they might have previously had. When we put it in the context of not so long ago, a couple months ago, Xi Jinping actually met with the Kuomintang, like the previous rulers of Taiwan or whatever, like the separatists, but they were never the separatists. That's the thing, right? So now, like the former fascist rulers of Taiwan that wanted to oust the communist Chinese government and take over the Chinese mainland or whatever, have apparently made a rapprochement with the Chinese communists because they were like the separatists that the Americans, the democratic separatists in Taiwan that the Americans have fostered or whatever, have become more of a threat to the KMT fascists in Taiwan or whatever, to the point where they're willing to make fucking red-brown alliance with the Chinese again, whatever. And you have to remember that the Chinese state, whatever, was founded through a revolutionary red-brown alliance, whatever, that the communists made in the first place with the KMT against the Japanese invaders. Okay, so there's a complex, complicated, different history with fascism in China that we need to fucking learn about to understand how these moving parts nowadays that are changing in ways that we don't understand if we don't understand the history, and the history is complicated. So, sorry. You want me to play this here?
I do. Then I have a dirty joke just to break the monotony, okay?
Yeah.
After we're done being serious.
Yeah. But this is serious as far as we are just wasting our time, and we are looking like fools if we're trying to be independent media and we're getting run around by the nose by these fucking spies. So I just like to get this. I guess we're going through that period of finding out who we can trust and support. And that's just the kind of phase that I've gone through, I guess, this past year or so. Let's get through it so that we can move on. You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
If you can't find people you can trust, whatever, I guess got to fucking, what's the point in carrying on? So
We're here to tell you about our orgs and our vision for the Democratic Party and politics in general.
All right. This is Common Power. We take volunteers from all over the country, mostly blue states, and bring them to battleground states over the country. It's a big deal this year. We are flipping seats, changing the narrative about who the Democratic Party is in this country, who leaders are in this country, and how we create change. When we ask folks for
now,
money,
what? Is that too fast? I sped it up too fast.
Well, it was like jumping, but it's fine now. But maybe start over because I didn't hear it. Fine.
Okay. Yeah, I got a lot of tabs open, so it just might just be a little stress on the computer. So.
We're here to tell you about our orgs and our vision.
we take volunteers from all over the country, mostly blue states, and bring them to battleground states, districts, and races all over the country. A big deal this year for the midterms. We are looking to flip seats and also, so it's not just about flipping seats, changing the narrative about who the Democratic Party is in this country, who leaders are in this country, and how we create change. When we ask folks for money, we do that so we can pay for travel for our volunteers, our staff members that are majority Black and brown folks and young people, and for training our volunteers. These folks who go here to do this stuff here.
And as for Kapow, it's modeled after what we did with our campaign. The big thing for Common Power and us is that we need action over words. So a lot of our campaign was rooted in mutual aid and direct action. What does that mean? Well, we turned our campaign office into a mutual aid hub.
We can do mutual aid too. We're Democrats.
So we're keeping that hub open, but we're also making sure that it's a third space because there are very few places in America that can exist without spending money except like libraries and parks.
Sorry.
And that's part of the reason we feel so isolated from each other.
Black people do not join. Black people do not join this. Stand down. Stand down. This is not our time. This is our time for white people to fix the problems that white people created in this country. Stand down. What are you doing?
And there's
why are you there?
Western leftists are often called like baizuo by Chinese people from China online, like being fucking white liberal leftists, you know, like the bad kind of woke. But if this is what Roy Singham is supporting, and everything has to be couched in allegedly, right? Because of where the narratives come from, right? But like, I think it's fairly clear that, like, even though the Americans are all pissed off, like they're demonizing him for supporting whatever, being China's influencer in the West, whatever. When you go looking into it, it's pretty obvious that he is. You know, it's just, I don't know. I'll leave you to decide that for yourself. You go ahead and do that research if you want to. But in my opinion, I think that it's just that real politic that everyone knows goes on or whatever, and then people make excuses for if they want to be picking a side. So, but this is like the Baizuo shit that they're criticizing, but they're funding. So that would be the real politic neocon kind of approach. Not surprising though. Okay, let's get back at it.
And if we want to make actual political change, we have to treat politics like a muscle, constantly flex it, and make sure that it's a team sport that also includes working class people. We also need to be coordinating more between progressive organizations, especially at the local level, in Chicago where we are, but also on the national level, like with Common Power. If we want to build actual progressive power, then we need to do it as a unit and look at what the talents and experiences that we have and how we can use them differently and together. Additionally, we have a mass volunteer base, and we want to mobilize them for causes across the country, once again, including Common Power. In politics, we often treat voters, supporters, and volunteers as if they're piggy banks or people to knock doors until you get burnt out and then never want to get involved in politics again. But what we're saying is let's be a little more creative. Let's have community events. Let's bring people together. Let's unite the apolitical and the political. Like in our campaign, we had both door knocking, canvassing events, and also punctuation.
I'm sorry, this is pissing me off.
Oh, that's okay. Go ahead.
They are basically co-opting everything we talk about down here and like, oh, well, where have you been? This is what we should have been doing.
They're making it relatable.
This is our whole. We've been trying to do this. This is what we need to do. And then once we do all this, once we give you some turkeys and some, it's the same shit they do. It's like, give turkeys at Thanksgiving or whatever. That's what their mutual aid comes down to. Instead of just giving you stuff for the holidays, we're gonna try to give it to you every now and again in the political stance, so you can associate mutual aid and what would appear to be socialism as political activism. And guess who's doing it? Democrats. Get out my face. Get out
They're
my
so radical.
face.
You just don't know, Abby. They're just so radical. You're just never gonna know. I mean, look at these fucking.
Never gonna know. That was so Canadian. You're just never gonna know.
I just look at these like stars and the exclamation mark. Like, do you get the infantilization kind of like they're condescending to you, but like they think you're stupid. That's what that seems to me, right?
Mm-hmm. But some people are gonna eat this shit up. Like, yeah, November.
Some people just want to be talked to like a kid, I guess.
Shows where we had knitting circles, but also phone banks. If we want politics to truly be a team sport, then we need to make sure it's bringing everyone in. And finally,
we want politics to be a team sport. That's what we criticize, isn't it? Everybody hates politics because it's just turned into fucking team sports. Let's make it into team sports again, guys. Make politics great again.
Us versus them. Us versus them. That's where a team sport is, right?
Yeah.
Only one of us can come out the winner.
Well, there it is. Yeah. Guess tribalism's the way to go.
So it look like it.
It's hard to know. Anyway, I don't know if we need to finish really playing the whole thing. I feel like if it's a socialist tribe, it's the right tribe. But that's where people just say, "Oh, you're lost in the sauce." So I was
actually there's more people that are like saying socialism than I've never seen it. So that's why they can't. Well, let me just finish my thought.
Yeah.
I've never seen it so prevalent in my life before. I've never seen it so prevalent. And then so now they come out with political racism. I mean, not political racism, I'm sorry. The resurgence of political terrorism. And we got to stamp that down now because too many people are being like, you know what, this is some bullshit.
That's the thing, right?
This is not the life I want for myself and my children.
Clearly, they time this very carefully. When they obviously all the surveillance they see where we're starting to get like actually maybe ready for some shit, whatever. Then they go, oh, time to trot out the chilling effect about got to make them all terrified and make everyone think that if anyone does anything that it's because they have the terrorist intention in mind, right? But so now we can't say that that there might be something like that approach would be the rational approach, because they're going to arrest us if we say it. So
The DNC just texted me, by the way, just now.
wow, feel like we're being watched, anyone?
Well, I'm on their list because I want to know what they're telling people. So, do you want me to read it to you real quick?
Sure. Yeah.
Is there anything? If I do that, that's because they put an emphasis on the word. Is there anything we can say to convince you to donate to the DNC today? What if we told you that we have 96 days to register as many Democratic voters as possible? What if we told you once those 96 days are up, that's it? Because time is the only thing we can't get back. And what if we told you that the earlier you step up, the greater your impact will be on the most important midterm elections of our lives? Don't y'all always tell us that every election is the most important election in our lives? Every single one. Okay, anyway, we're running out of time. Chip in $15 today to help us hire more organizers, recruit more volunteers, and invest in battleground states while we still can. Please pitch in $15. Why do you need money from me when you're getting bankrolled by lobbyists, by PACs? Why are you trying to take money from me?
There are far many. Maybe now would be a good time to share our GoFundMe's. Oh crap! I closed it down on that.
I also had someone text me.
There are far many more better causes to donate to compared to this Democratic Party. So,
let me see.
Like for example,
recently deleted. I'm going to see if I can show you a message or tell you a message that I was sent, and I was like, "What? Oh, it must be this one." Let me see.
So I was just.
Oh, I gotta
just
recover it. Yeah, why are you pulling that up? Why are you pulling that up? That's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
why are you pulling that up?
I got the donation for Yonina pulled up here. I don't know if you checked in on the Discord, but I got an update from her, and so it's fairly crucial. It juxtaposed this Democratic Party request for donation with Yonina letting us know that she was made homeless for the past month. Her move to Chicago did not go well. She lost her cat. All right. She's been having a really fucking shitty time. So can you please help her out? Donate. I believe she's made it off the streets, but let's keep her off the streets, because if you think like America's shitty right now and you're housed, imagine how bad it is if you're struggling to secure housing. So that's Yonina. Let me put that in the chat, and then I'll share our other GoFundMe that we promote. And I guess the third one that I was mentioned was Isaac Jaspers there. He was asking to help you out. So those are our three people that we're saying don't donate to the Democratic Party.
She was such a value of information.
Yeah, and that's not even a donation. That's value for value. That's like guy did some work or whatever. Show him some respect, you know. So there's Yonina's GoFundMe, and here is Natalia's. Natalia has been one of these unfortunate, innocent people that's been picked up on ICE on bullshit, trumped up charges. And they're just kind of trying to extort people, and probably there's been plenty of reports about like physical and sexual abuse and whatnot. I feel like half the reason to do this is just fucking wanton like sexual violence against half the people that they hate. Like they're racist against people, but they feel like they want to rape them too. Funny how that goes. Not to say that shouldn't even say that necessarily, because like I haven't exactly heard that's been happening to her. But let's get people out of ICE detention that they never fucking should have been locked up in the first place before something like that happens. You know? So she's been moved to a new facility. She's got a new judge, but she's still trapped up in the kind of bullshit American justice system. And our donations have kind of slowed to a bit of a crawl here. So if we can support these people who actually deserve it, then we could do our part, sleep a little bit more soundly, actually deserve it. Did you have something you wanted to share there, Abby?
I wanted to break the monotony and make people laugh first, because
I've been my typical heavy self. What can I say?
They've been real nasty in the chat, real funny about, they in there talking about penises. So I'm gonna play this because I think it's funny as hell. Because they've been talking about it, so I assume this is what they're talking about.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So here we go.
Wait.
Now, to me, this is how racism started, in my humble opinion. Okay, hold on.
Go ahead.
There we go. Press play.
What are we researching today?
How to know if white cock or black cock is right for you.
Absolutely. Okay.
It's important to know that both will get the job done.
Get the job done. Now, is that at the same time, or?
One is definitely better than the other.
Not at the same time. That's.
In my case, I will be choosing the black cock for the front.
Black is better for the front. Okay.
Now for the back door, my preference is a white cock.
I knew it. I knew it.
As you can see here, the slit that I need to fill is much smaller.
It really is about size,
Now, I know some of you may be thinking it's a little excessive to have two different cocks to get the job done.
Yeah, I did. You're right. I did. But now that you're breaking it down for me, it's 100% clear. I see the need for two separate cocks.
And if your cock is well used and pretty beat up like this one, don't worry, it will still work.
Beat up cock.
Not beat up.
Still works.
Now, the black cock is fairly new to me, but
girl, same. I didn't even know they had black cock.
I advise that you use a glove for protection.
Wouldn't it be a garden glove, right? Or like a snow glove, or it's probably a rubber glove. Is probably right. I'm gonna put rubber glove.
Go ahead and really work it into the area, as any excess mess can be cleaned up at a later time.
I recommend just bringing a towel or a rag with you. Just makes it a lot easier for cleanup.
Pro tip, you're always going to want to keep a rag around if you're not using a glove.
Oh, look at that. First day at research and I'm a cock pro. Look at that.
I was able to assist you in whether choosing white cock or black cock was best for you.
Oh, absolutely. I learned so much and I will be sharing this research with the people.
It's just research, our shirt says. That was good.
Well, what are they saying in the chat?
They're saying this would be better if Abby was saying it. The one with the cock guns, or whatever, with the brown hair, or the blonde one?
And I do have caulk guns. I use caulk.
Well, I don't use
figuratively and figuratively and literally.
Me too.
Just saying.
I literally and figuratively do not use cock. I don't need to. I'm a renter. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm a homeowner, so I gotta take care of. I gotta take care of the house. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? In the house. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted y'all to laugh a little bit, okay? That's all.
Thank you
just
for
shits
that.
and giggles.
That was worth witnessing. Putting in my eye hole. I appreciate that.
I do not like white carpet, actually. If you want to be honest, I don't like white carpet. And I'll tell you why if you ask, but we don't need to know that.
Maybe
it's just a preference. It's just a preference. I have no problem with them. It's just a preference.
That sounds like maybe a fun thing to talk. Maybe we'll talk about that on Tuesday or something.
Look, here come Here come the Debbie goddamn Downer.
Well, I'm just saying, do you want me to wrap it up here, or shall I try and finish whatever? There is maybe, I'm not sure how much, we kind of maybe made the point, but we made more of the discussion about, like, maybe we'll have to circle back and do another coverage of Roy Singham and the PSL. There's been a few things I would maybe want to cover about the Singham's like ThoughtWorks. He sold to this Apex company, which is like this private equity firm that seems to specialize in taking things public and then privatizing them, or vice versa, and making money through the transformation from public to private or private to public. So, but then to keep in mind, like the big picture with the global economic financial crisis is a private equity crisis. And so the way that they fund these, whatever influence on the independent media is through selling their company, their tech company, to someone like Apex Partners. So you see this here on screen? Is that big enough? All right.
Oh, wait, let me see. I gotta make it bigger for myself first. Yeah, it's fine. I think it's fine. If anybody else doesn't think it's fine, let me know. But I think it's fine.
You can go a little bigger.
Okay,
So
yeah, that's good.
That's better. Apex Partners is a British private equity firm headquartered in London, England. The company also operates out of 6 other offices in New York, Hong Kong, Mumbai, Tel Aviv, Munich, and Shanghai. As of March 2024, the firm had raised and advised funds of approximately $77 billion. Apex Partners is one of the oldest and largest private equity firms operating on an international basis. So when I hear oldest and largest, I hear old money, whatever. I hear old colonizer, fucking probably the most white supremacist, most crotchety ass or whatever capitalists you could find, right? Apex invests across 3 sectors: technology, internet consumer, and services. It looks for investments in a target enterprise value of $100 million to $5,000 million. It raises capital for its investment funds through institutional investors, including corporate and public pension funds, university and college endowments, foundations, and funds. So the kind of people who basically they become too big to fail. Like I'm saying, like those Lloyd's of London, like the Lloyd's of London insurance motherfuckers, whatever. They go and get so invested and tied up in your project that you can't, whatever, see fail, like the Belt and Road Initiative, perhaps. And then they make it so that you can't make it without them, and so that their survival is your survival, and all of a sudden you're not who you wanted to be. So in 1972, Sir Ronald Murad Cohen, an Egyptian-born British businessman and political figure. Now, what do we know about the last name Cohen? Isn't that more of a last name?
Michael Cohen.
Just saying. So,
but are they related?
I don't know. Didn't look into this. He's an Egyptian-born British man. I'm just trying to say. Oh, what is he? A Syrian Jewish banker who lives who was in Egypt under the British, whatever, occupancy, and he's a billionaire who started this fucking private equity firm in the UK. So I would say he's a pretty staunch Zionist. You know, I don't think he's the kind of anti-imperialist, like Jewish, whatever, secular Jew kind of, I don't know. I'm just saying. We'll have to maybe cover people like this in another stream too, because there's just so much, there's too many rabbit holes to dig into, right? But I'm just was looking at some of who they like purchased the Tommy Hilfiger Corp. I don't know what Hit Entertainment is. Bain Capital.
Oh, Tommy Hilfiger, like that's a big scandal.
But they're
for the black community.
Oh, is it?
He said that he would have never. They claim he didn't say that, but we heard it. He said he would have never made Hilfiger if he knew black people would wear it.
You would never what? What's that?
He would have never had launched Hilfiger if he thought it was going to resonate so much with the black community. We would.
Oh, he hated the fact that the black community was making him wealthy.
Jeez.
Fucking dude. Anyway, yeah, well, we should cover stuff like that. Whatever. I'm sure you got plenty of stories like that. But there was So Omer is here. Ontario Municipal Employees Retirement System, Canadian Public Pension Fund of our municipal governments, is owned by this fucking venture capital firm. I don't know if they still are, right? But anyway, so, and then we got Miftash Shamir Holdings, is an Israeli investment company led by Meir Shamir, purchased the Tenuva company, Israeli food creation and marketing company, for $1 billion. Okay, in 2008. All right.
May I stop you for a second? I
Yep.
could use the restroom, so I'll be right back. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So if timelines matter, there's this Apax investor getting involved with Israel, and if the genocide didn't start wherever on October 7th, remember, it's been going on for a very long time. So then you got acquiring Apax Partners 76.8% of Sagot Investment House. Okay. Sophos Limited, British security software, hardware company. So they're all up in like the cybersecurity business and everything. And then finally, way back down here in 2017, you got Apax bought 100% of Spanish real estate web portal Idealista, just keeping the fact that Spain's involved here, right? In this Chambers situation. But so ThoughtWorks, this is the Roy Singham thing. On August 23rd, August 2017, funds advised by Apax Partners announced a definitive agreement to acquire ThoughtWorks, a global software development and digital transformation consulting company from Roy Neville Singham in September. That's a different one. Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, as far as blood money, it was for $700 million, right? Almost $1 billion. And then Apax Partners recently, in 2024, took that company ThoughtWorks private again. Here, 20. So they're involved with the consulting services for the decarbonization of buildings, right? Because we want private equity involved with as we demonstrated with the insurance industry, whatever, the people profiting from the pollution of the atmosphere are then going to profit from the decarbonization of it. But ThoughtWorks here. November 2024, Apax completes the transaction to take the consultancy company ThoughtWorks private for a sum of $1.7 billion. So as far as Neville Chambers made $700 million, and then the private equity firm made $1.75 billion off of making him $700 million, just took time. So we could we'll take maybe one of these days, if we remember, we'll look more deeply into these people, see how connected they actually are with Israel and whatnot. So there's a mainstream media. Let me find it here. There's just a little clip from about India to show you that they don't like him in India either. So I'm telling you, he does seem to be a Chinese influencer. Fuck. Yeah, here. And so as far to keep in mind what XD was saying, if they're actually like dismantling the U.S. empire or whatever with capitalist kind of tactics, then who the fuck am I to say, right? I just want to keep in mind that they're doing this BRICS thing with India, and then this lady in India from 2 years ago saying China's silent war on India. So it's like, how are we supposed to know what to think? You know, are they allies with India or are they arch enemies? And I don't think they should be allies with Hindutva fascist India led by BJP Modi, you know. But I understand India is a big fucking place and they probably want a different political party in power. Anyway, let's
Our story tonight is about China's silent war on India. This will shock you. A man has been accused of spending millions of dollars in India in order to spread pro-China propaganda. That's right. It's a sinister ploy, to say the least. It's a silent war and a murky web of trying to buy bias and influence. Who exactly is this man? What's behind this plan? And how exactly was he executing it? Who all were involved? And how was the lid blown off? On Gravitas tonight, we get to these answers as we join the dots and bring you the bigger picture. Also on the show for you tonight, Stockholm has emerged as Europe's new crime capital. We tell you why the crime rates in Sweden have been attracting global concern now. There is a new COVID variant on the prowl. Should you be worried? Iran is gaslighting women.
Not, because he white.
Whoops. Sure.
I gotta open that back up. I just tried to switch to that tab, and I hate how they got this fucking X right on the tab. So if you click it too quick, my bad. But it was just getting to that point where, so keep in mind, what these mainstream media people say, they're just doing the gaslighting about Iranian women. So then, if you don't believe them about what they're going to say about that shit, why the fuck would you believe them about what they say about Neville Roy Singham? Indian media is just as bad as U.S. media if you actually watch it. Yeah. So here.
You had said.
Oh wait, I'm not sharing the tab. My bad.
You're not sharing. You ended it.
Yeah, no, I was calling it back up because I tried to pause it, but by trying to switch to the tab, I closed the tab. So.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. Yeah.
That's me, and I'm just going. You had mentioned something about like environmental concerns, so I wanted to play this after you were done. Because they're so concerned about the environment, I wanted to show you how concerned were they about the environment.
Right, and that's the same thing with like China is often accused of being really bad on the environment by the West, but they've also, if you look at their,
thank you, Mama.
China's been saying they're like the leaders in climate innovation, and so.
Thank you, Mom.
But definitely, India's not better than China on the environment, so don't be listening to what they got to say. So, do you want to share yours first? Or I got mine called back up.
You could finish with mine is only on the environment, so you could finish your thought, and then I'll just piggyback off of what you said about how they're so concerned with the environment.
Okay. Yeah. Here we go.
Plan to get you home safe. We tell you more. Our cover story is about a man who has been accused of waging a war in India. It's a fireless war. It's a war of narrative, a war of misinformation and disinformation. It is China's war of influence. And Beijing's foot soldier in this war is Neville Roy Singham. A New York Times investigation has accused him of spending millions of dollars in India in order to spread pro-China propaganda. But this is not the first time Singham's name has come up for something fishy. Raids previously have led Indian authorities to Singham. Now, don't get fooled by his Bollywoodish name. Neville Roy Singham is an American, but he sits thousands of miles away in Shanghai, close to the Chinese seat of power, running his large network of propaganda machines, masquerading as shell companies.
Yeah, go ahead.
You saw his wife, right? It's like, why are these people out? You know what? Let me just shut up. Go ahead.
Why do you marry that wealthy white Democratic whatever lady? It seems like arranged marriage kind of for power as opposed to any sort of love. What do I know?
No, you're absolutely correct, because they do that in the NFL and the NBA. Like, they keep those people isolated. They do that with rappers. The people that are in charge of them, when they have parties and stuff, they make sure they only bring certain women around them.
They try and pick and choose their future wife for them without them knowing. Is that what you're saying?
Because they're trying to
arrange whether you know it or not. Yeah.
They don't want black wealth to circulate. So they have a lineup of white women. Which one you want? Like,
yeah, I'm gonna like it's a little
do
too
it
long,
all the time.
but I think we should end with the video from Neville Roy Singham's father, Archibald Singham, which is a really British name for a Sri Lankan guy, whatever. But he was involved in like the non-aligned movement, so I think that's like kind of where he gets the Maoist sort of probably from his father. And we'll play part of the video from like the 70s, and it's like night and day as far as the Cox family father compared to this like very black, whatever, like Sri Lankan Indian, and then who obviously married a very white lady, because you look at Neville Roy Singham and he's like pretty mulatto, you know. So
Yeah, not every time, but you know.
Anyway,
a
yeah.
lot.
Shouldn't get too much into whatever, talking about who marries who for what reasons. We don't even fucking know these people, right? Let's get back to it.
You can, but you can talk to pattern. You can speak to pattern behavior.
Right, yeah. In generals, yeah. So let me just hit play here.
And NGOs. Last week, Singham was reportedly attending a workshop on ways to spread Chinese propaganda. He once founded a company called ThoughtWorks Inc. The website claims Roy is a globally renowned information technology thought leader. So why is this thought leader being accused of influencing people's thoughts in favor of China? Why is he oiling the Chinese propaganda machinery in India? Is his resume nothing but a cover? In India, Singham reportedly...
Why is he a thumb?
Mm-hmm.
Is he saying he looks like a thumb? Thumb. A little bit, yeah. All fun and games.
Poured money into a website called NewsClick. It is run by PPK NewsClick Studio Private Limited. In the year 2021, this website came under the radar of India's Enforcement Directorate. ED claimed that NewsClick had received questionable foreign funding amounting to 38 crore rupees. So on the 9th of February, the ED raided NewsClick. At least 10 of its premises were searched. The raid lasted 5 days. New York Times now claims, I'm quoting, Singham's network financed a news site, NewsClick, that sprinkled its coverage with Chinese government talking points. And this is what the website looks like. Nothing obviously suspicious there. No red color or Chinese flag, of course. Not too long ago, NewsClick filed a story that declared Oppenheimer film should remind us who is the real enemy of the people. And who is that? Definitely not China. The story reads, and I'm quoting, for young internationalists and anti-imperialists in the United States, it is essential for us to listen clearly to the people of West Africa and the Sahel. Western media has been spinning nefarious tales of Russian and Chinese growing influence in the region. 2 years ago, NewsClick filed this story.
Wait, are
China
they
claims to
tails?
achieve eradication
Hold on, stop, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are they tails?
Tails, what do you mean?
Can you go back? She said,
yeah.
Can you go back to what she said and then stop it and tell me? Go ahead.
The various tales of Russian and Chinese growing influence in the region. That's what I'm saying. Like,
so why are you lying about that?
People are going to come to defense of Russia and China. We're like, no, of course they don't have influence operations in the West. That's malarkey. No, that's actually kind of makes a lot of sense.
Russia bomb, like, okay, it does. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead, I was done. Yeah.
Okay, so China has been providing Iran with weapons. Okay, Russia just bombed Poland. That's a NATO ally.
Oh, I missed that. Did they? That's a significant development.
It's very significant. That's why I said before we get off this podcast, we should talk about the fact that I think we really might be in World War III, but we just don't know it. Because World War III is going to be fought over there. It's never fought over here. But we always initiate it. I think we are bringing upon World War III in the Middle East. Because, okay, let's just name the countries that have been bombing. Okay. Well, of course, U.S. and Israel, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Yemen. Who else has been bombing? Now Russia, Ukraine. That's 7 countries right there. And I'm pretty sure I haven't even mentioned all the countries
I
that
did
are
see
going back and forth.
Ukraine made a backpedaling statement that it was an accident, whatever. I don't know how significant that is. I think that probably means that they're not actively going to go to war with Iran, but then maybe they're
They
just
got
trying to
scared.
lie, and then
They
they're
got
going to
scared.
attack again, and then pretend like again it was an accident. That's the fucking the
Mhm.
method of operation of these neo-fascists, right?
I think Russia's testing the waters to see like how much they could tippy toe and push back NATO, because Trump
Well,
doesn't even want to be in NATO anymore.
it's not so much tippy toe. It's like that's more Ukraine and NATO have been tippy toeing with seeing how much can they poke the bear and not get bit. And now Russia's
Right.
like, I'm gonna bite you. Okay, we're gonna see what if you poke me again after I actually fucking bite you and bomb Poland. I gotta look into that after the show's over or whatever. But that's like the ball would be in NATO's court now because they're supposed to do the whole whatever
You're
Article
You're
5.
supposed to Article 5, and
And it
you're
should be
supposed
World
to do
War
all those
III,
things.
and the insurance, whatever clause 5 should be triggered, and the insurance industry should be in the fucking shitter for the next like decade. Okay, but this and it's because the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and now the Red Sea is closed because of the Yemenis. So how is the global economy functioning right now? How is private equity not exploded right now? So, but there's
Right, and
only
I
so
think
much
and I
you can
think
do
that's
how to know.
why I actually think that's why NATO hasn't responded yet, because they know that the global economy is very, very fractured and very, very what's the word I'm looking for? Not soft, but when you're fractured is a good enough word. It would just be another synonym for fractured. So we're just gonna go with that. So I think that's why NATO hasn't done anything yet. Excuse my voice.
That's pretty funny, Lance. You said Luke Radowski, a Canadian YouTuber, just moved to Poland and his town got bombed the day he arrived. I guess people would say that's not funny. It's fucking rude. How evil leftist of me to say that, or whatever. But this is similar to like
it's not evil.
What Leif was just saying about Fergie Chambers, or whatever. Like, I don't exactly wish anyone's town to be bombed. But you know, I'm not going to be on the. I'm not going to be on the side of people who jump on the. We got to defend this guy. Luke Radowski, I know him from back in the day when I used to watch the Grand Theft World podcast, wherever. You got to go to like their website and shit, but that's like a right wing, like libertarian kind of neoconservative sort of outlet. And then they had like Tim Pool constantly being shared on their website alongside Luke Radowski, and Richard Grove is his name, who runs that little production.
Is that evil, or is it observant?
He's an anti-communist, and he fucked around and he found out. All right, you think you're fucking radical, you're libertarian nonsense. You just fucking your blindness just led you right into a place that got you bombed. Okay.
There's this white woman on she's on Facebook and TikTok or something, but she's like disparaging Canada. She said, I moved my family to Canada to because because she feared what was going on. So you fled. We don't flee. We stay. Okay. You fled. She went to like West Canada or something to be a little closer to her family and to be out of the United States. But her and her stupid ass, her wife and her daughter, they on a 6-month visa, so they can't work. They just went there with their savings account, and now they're complaining about how they can't get any benefits because they're on a travel visa, so they can't work. So they can't like get access to any of the benefits of the healthcare system. So now she's up here trying to bash her healthcare system. It's not as good as I thought it was. Well, you You haven't bought into it. You have no claim to it. You just dropped your little ass all over there, and now you mad? Girl, bye.
Well, and not if you come into our grand Canadian healthcare system now and criticizing it now, you're seeing it like in its twilight, like when it's almost fucking dead, because our healthcare system is kind of crippled right now. We've been having wait times for like feels like going on a decade now that have just been out of control. So it's become completely disorganized.
No, okay, when you say a decade, can you be more realistic? Because I know you're not waiting for a decade to get
I'm saying the
an
problem
appointment.
of wait times just getting longer and longer has not been resolved for like a decade. So
I see.
When you recognize that there's a problem, you would think that the leadership would get around to solving it at some point. If it takes time, fine. But if it takes so much time that it doesn't get solved, then your leaders are pretending to deal with something, aren't they?
But we talked about this, Michael. Okay, I can make I can call for an appointment for my mother or myself, and this is private insurance or Medicare, and the wait time, they're like, well, we can get you in 6 months. 6 months. So I'd rather wait 6 months like you to not pay for something than to wait 6 months and still have and I've been paying the entire year just to go see a doctor for 6 months so they could just write something
so that they
push
can
me
extort you
off
of your life
for
savings
another 6 months
and make you sick, like what they did with Shonda. Rest in peace. Shout out to Shonda Masta.
Shout out to Shonda.
She did everything that she was expected to do. Go get up all that money you need, give it to the doctor like you're supposed to, and then they caused her health problem that eventually, created this cancer that killed her. And it's just like a statistic to most people, like how many stories around the US, it's a different kind of illness, but it's the same malpractice by the doctor, where you go in, you're supposed to trust them, you pay them to be the expert, and then they give you toxic medicine that makes you sick and maybe kills you, and they don't even get a slap on the wrist. But now we're off on the healthcare.
On a tangent, yeah. So let's get back to it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I gotta get the dog walked soon, so finish up this video.
To say that, yeah.
Then you got your thing to play, and then we'll have to save it. Maybe you'll I think maybe I made the point with this one. So how about we go to yours, and then we'll go to this Archibald Singham, and we'll wrap up. Sound good? Mm-hmm. We're taking too long. Let's move on to yours. If you want to get.
I just wanted to show for the environment.
India, the Hinduta fascists don't like Singham. The American Republicans and Democrats like the duopoly, whatever, they're trying to indict these people. And so you get the point, right? Make up your own mind as to what's going on. There's only so much you're gonna hear from me anyway. You know what I mean? So
I just want you to see, while they're telling you that you can only do electric cars. You can't have this. You can't have that. You got to eat crickets. You got all this stuff. Meanwhile, they're doing shit like this. Let me see if I got mine.
Is this a Tesla rocket?
SpaceX, yeah. Look at that.
Another one. How many rockets has he exploded? Does he ever get? How many successful launches does he even have? Has he got more than a 50-50 fucking ratio? I was looking into whether he was insured by the Lloyd's of London. Actually, fucking Elon Musk is a self-insured company. So I guess he's insured by the U.S. fucking government.
Probably.
But that's a fucking explosion that looks like a nuclear bomb from across the water.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're on that climate change, guys. Nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about. They can fly private jets left and right, this and that. They can They can do whatever they want to do,
Oh,
but your ass better not. You better help with climate change. You better do something about it.
yeah, that greatest IPO scam in stock
Here's
market
what comes
history.
off
That
a bowl
whole,
of strawberries when you drop this device
Oh,
in the
shoot,
water.
I'm sorry,
These berries
sorry.
are fresh from the
All right.
store and
we'll just put it.
Okay, there we go.
All right, but that whole
Can you take
thing
it down for me? Can you take it down?
yeah,
Give
they
me
sold us
fast
that fucking story
you.
about first trillionaire in history, but it was the greatest scam, IPO scam in history, and so they literally just lied about him being the first trillionaire in history. That's that story in a nutshell. Like that's the how good is the American economy doing right now, Dad? Well, they pretended that they just made trillionaire status in the middle of the AI bubble collapse. Oh, so I guess we're great. We're doing great then. So to wrap it up, I got this interesting video here. You want to do some final, closing up, wrapping up?
You really ready to go? Okay. So
I'm already here for 3 hours, and I'm sorry, I got to get the dog walk. But
no, you're fine, baby.
I'm not trying to rush everyone off the stage here. What I was saying, I just want to call this up, and then now we can do our final thoughts.
You're fine. I could. Do you want to talk about this when you call it up, and then we do our finals, or do you want to just do our finals now and then just call it up and?
Yeah, I don't need to really preface this one too much. The point I'm trying to make with this closing video is just do the compare and contrast between the two billionaires that are apparently competing for who's like the billionaire that you should trust to run the leftist, like socialist media networks and political organizing in the United States.
The answer is none.
Right. So if you want to compare and contrast the fathers of these billionaires, that might be interesting, but it only tells you so much. So I didn't have a video showing you Fergie's like Cox parents, but I'm sure if we went and looked at them, we would be quite disgusted with this white Western billionaire, whatever, classic Western capitalist kind of cronyism, the fucking media moguls, the people who have ruined media, let alone independent media, but the people who consolidated media into like 6 companies. The Cox family is one of those people. They destroyed journalism. They destroyed radio and TV and are killing the internet.
And I just want to say that was my only point about colonial. Like anywhere there's colonialism, there is extreme corruption because there has to be a hierarchy of you're at the bottom and we're at the top. It has to be that. So when I was talking about Blue Moon, Red Wine about Argentina, that's what I was referring to. She was trying to explain it away like it wasn't as big of a deal that it really is. And that's the only thing I was saying.
You're probably totally making a completely valid point wherever if I was hearing it more instead of like shutting you down wherever I probably would be agreeing with you instead, right?
Yeah, maybe not. But we can talk about it later.
Yeah, just trying to focus on the whatever one thing, and I was like, that's what happens. You get tunnel vision a little bit, but anyway,
that's what it was. I have to understand how your brain works. It's like when I want to talk about this, I'm talking about this.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Oh yeah.
If you want to belabor the point, then I got to fight for my right.
Yeah. No, when I get like a dog, whatever, with the thing shouldn't have in its mouth, whatever. You want to wrestle me, fight me for it? All right, here we go. Like a bulldog. Actually, real quick, whatever. Fucking, I know nobody wants to, but I was talking about the Apex partners, and this is probably something I should share just before we get out of here. At the very bottom of the Apex Partners Wikipedia page, it talks about notable persons. It's got this Jonathan Kestenbaum, is Chief Operating Officer, Investment Trust, RIT Capital Partners. What does this say? Formerly Rothschild Investment Trust. Just
But
thought
they
that,
don't
like,
they don't see it right now because it's just me and you up here.
okay,
You
but
want
anyway,
you want to put it up there?
yeah, I switched tabs, but I guess I didn't realize it wasn't up. So let me
I
just.
probably did it. I'm sorry.
That's
There
okay.
we go. And I did it again.
There
My
we go.
bad. Here you go.
So I meant to bring this up earlier, but I forgot. And look what it says, whatever, at the bottom. Notable persons for this Apex Partners, where Singham got $700 million, whatever, after he sold his ThoughtWorks company. This says Jonathan Andrew Kessenbaum, Chief Operating Officer, Investment Trust, RIT Capital Partners, formerly Rothschild Investment Trust, British Investment Trust. So I just, as far as like the conspiracy theory angle that everyone's like, the Rothschilds are involved in everything, right? If you don't want your political movement to be run by anything at all associated at any point with like fucking the Rothschilds, well, then maybe Singham's not for you, all right? But this is just a little, now to smash cut, to, I put that out of order or whatever, but to show you a little bit of where Singham comes from. Archie Singham reads Foreign Policy, a look at the Old Boys Network. The late
You definitely have to make that bigger.
Yeah.
Definitely. Do you need to put it to me in my so I can play it so you can go walk the dog? And I'll end it.
Yeah, if you want to do that, that'll work better maybe.
Okay.
It's like you don't have to play the whole thing, but if you want to, if it's interesting, feel free to watch the whole thing or whatever. But because I think that this is a great point that he makes in this video. This video is about him talking about the academia, and we hear this echoed today in the criticisms from the Marxist-Leninists about the Western Marxists, the Western left in general. They're basically saying that the academia has betrayed the left, and they sit there kind of...
They really have. They really have.
And this guy called it out in the 70s, and guess people don't listen to him because he's Sri Lankan, because his skin is black, right? Like, but then, like, the father's not the son necessarily. The fact that his son became a billionaire, married to a Democratic, whatever, a woman from the Democratic Party. Apple falls far from the tree sometimes, who knows? So anyway, no, you're gonna play it, so I don't need to. I'll say my goodbyes then.
Is it paper television? Archie Singham?
Paper Tiger, whatever that I put in the.
Okay, yeah, okay. Paper Tiger, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so feel free to skip the intro music. It's just like a reggae song, whatever, or play it if you want. But anyway, I'm gonna be.
Well, before you do that,
you wanna
Bella,
do your thing.
Hey, Bella, sweet baby. I love how she always give a paw. She's like, hello.
She does
She's
one.
so dainty. She's so dainty.
Yeah, she's my lady.
Oh, and then right before you leaving, Sean just got disco. Oh yeah, liver's fine. I'm scheduled for ultrasound. Yay, Sean.
Well, obviously something was happening though, so let us know. Keep us posted. Thank you for giving me the good news before I left. I appreciate that. That's good timing. Perfect. I'm glad you're okay.
So you can go down, have a good walk. What do you say? Outside? No, you say walk. What do you say?
I don't say anything. I don't want her to. This is as much as you do to let her know that she's about to go for a walk, because I don't need her. She already freaks out enough as soon as I pick up like the harness and stuff and the leash.
Oh,
but
she does.
I don't train her with the word walk like other people do, so that she gets extra excitable, because then she starts nipping at me and stuff. She doesn't listen to me very well. Nobody listens to me very well. I'm just one of those people, you know.
You need to get you need to get a newspaper and wrap that bitch up. I bet she'll listen in.
That's funny.
Okay, people are gonna say I'm animal cruelty.
No. There's a certain thing called negative reinforcement that after a while you gotta like show her who's boss, or she's literally bossing me around and she knows it.
Exactly.
Like a child, you know.
Even little chihuahuas will do that. My cousin used to say, I gotta spank them when they're young, so we ain't got a box when they old.
And let's keep in mind, we've got people criticizing us about, look how abusive you are to your children. Well, look what they do to the working class. Okay, look what they do to like people who are
shut up.
Like people who belong to a different country or whatever. I guess they're whatever happens to them doesn't fucking matter or whatever. But if you say mean things to your dog or whatever, if I see you make your child cry, I think you're the worst person in the world. I think there's something seriously fucked up there. So, but anyways, au revoir.
So, all I have to do is read this little paragraph and then I can play it.
Hit play and yeah, you can play the whole thing or whatever. Just I thought the to talk about the academic monopoly on political affairs or whatever. This guy fucking nailed it. So
okay, so I'll just play it, and then I'll jump in whenever I want to.
yeah.
All right, so here we go.
I'll see you guys next time. Have a good weekend.
You too. We'll talk soon.
Yep. Good night.
Let me make this the right size, I think. Oops. Gotta make it the right size. There we go. I might get it. I love that song. Where everywhere is war. War in the east. War up north. Equally guaranteed. But then he says, but every day, all the human rights are equally guaranteed to all, without regard for race. And he said, war. And until that day, y'all know that song. We'll find it necessary. We know we shall win. Because we are confident into victory. For good over evil. Good over evil. Where everywhere is war.
The issue before us, as Bob Marley suggests, is a question of war. Is there a war in the East? Is there a war in the West? Is there a war in the South? And is there a war in the North? And those of us who live in this country have to decide that issue basically within the next few years. Because from all the computer projections, it is clear that war is imminent. Now, for those of us who want to try and understand why we are going to the gas chambers, it's important to, first of all, know what are the journals we can read. What can we do?
It's really quiet, Abby. Can you make it any louder?
Of war.
I don't know if anyone else can hear that. But...
That is actually, I turned up my own thing, but that is as loud as it gets.
All right, goddamn.
See, over here.
That sucks. That's because it's old video maybe. But sorry to jump back on. But I guess that's.
Should I just put it in a Discord then?
Yeah,
or
maybe.
Should you put it in a Discord and let them watch it on their own?
Yeah.
Everybody's going to INN anyway.
It's already too late. Yeah, we held people long enough. People got only so much time. So
just put it in a Discord and thank you everyone. But I'll still close out for you. Okay.
Yeah. No worries.
Okay.
All right. Peace.
Make sure you're loving on yourselves, your family, your friends, and we will see you soon on Tuesday. Bye-bye. Don't forget to like. Subscribe and share.